And we're here with the next episode of the Fun Football Podcast, episode 28. I am Isaac. We've got Med here from Shots from the Sideline. We did a non-live episode last week. Med, how are you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing great, man. I wish it would warm up a little bit over here on the South Coast, but it's all gravy, baby.
What's the temp out there?
Oh God. Well, what some people like, especially like up in Michigan and everything, it's 50 degrees, but you got to think 50 degrees is like 2 degrees for you down here. So in South Carolina, it's unreal.
The funny thing is, I'm actually from Upper Michigan, like when I was a kid, so it would be absolutely freezing. Like I remember we used to have so many snow days. Now the weird thing in Texas is there's like a random week where it gets cold. Like we had a snowmageddon. We're totally deviating right now. We're talking weather on a football podcast.
Welcome to CNN, folks.
I'm also going to make sure that I made this public for everybody because last time I made it private, which was genius. So let me make sure really quick that this is hold on. Yeah, I did the same thing. Hold on. Boom. There we go. Now everybody can see it.
Now we're public.
Now we're public. Look at us. What? Nobody's going to see that beginning. I don't know why it keeps doing that setting on me. I think it's a setting I have on Facebook.
You want to reintroduce then, or are you good?
Yeah, we will reintroduce. Okay, so this is episode, I can't believe it, 28 of the Fun Football Podcast. Bill is sick, unfortunately. I'm Isaac. I'm the host of the Fun Football Podcast. I've got Med back from Shots from the Sideline. He's back. We did an episode last week, and we had so much fun. He's here to do it again. What's up, man?
Man, I'm doing great right now. A little chilly down here in South Carolina, not as cold as other places in the States, but 50 degrees for someone that's, lives near the beach is pretty freaking cold right now. So that wind chill ain't nothing to play with right now. How's everything on your side?
Well, Texas gets cold randomly. It's in the 40s in the morning, which is nothing. But in late January or late February, the last, I think, 3 years in a row now, we've had like a snowmageddon for anybody in any part of Texas, honestly. Yeah. One a few years ago, like it hit all the way down in San Antonio. It was nuts. And we're not prepared for any of that stuff, which is dumb because it happens every winter. And there's this whole thing with the power grid in Texas because we don't share because we're Texas. So I'm totally deviating, but school, I'm a teacher. We lost, I think the last 3 years straight now, I've lost at least, I think it was 4 days of school. Yeah, so it's probably coming, but not yet. It's still like in the 60s. So
it's going to be like The Day After Tomorrow, that old movie back in 2000s.
Oh, I remember that. I'm a big movie buff. I don't know if I've actually said that. I thought about doing a movie TV podcast. So, but yeah, I know that one. I actually did it. You'll laugh at this. I was an entertainment editor in high school and college. Yeah, I almost went for journalism, and that was one of the first movies I reviewed when I was like a sophomore, when that movie came out, actually. So yeah.
Yeah, I like 2012 better, but it is what it is.
Oh, I didn't know when at first. It wasn't bad. I'm trying to think of one of my favorite disaster movie script here. Hey, we got Joe on. Frozen Tundra Network, man.
Hey, what's up, Joe?
How you doing? Med was a big fan.
Barfing because of all the stuff in the background.
So yeah, he is a Bears fan, but he's really cool, so that's why we're doing it again. And Joe, man, if you ever want to join, you are awesome. Heck, if you even want to join today, I'd be down. I'm just gonna let you know it's not a Packers only podcast. We will talk some Packers and some Bears, but I made it football for a reason because I like watching all of the NFL. So all right, man, let's cut it up.
Let's go.
What was your most shocking loss from week 15? I have a couple of candidates, actually.
I know what yours is, and I'm just going to say that mine was actually Seattle beating Philly. And a big reason why is because, for one, Seattle didn't have Geno Smith. Drew Lock was the quarterback. And, we already started busting on Philadelphia as it was. They've been kind of, I wouldn't say exposed, but a lot of people are starting to play them to where they're more or less containing Jalen Hurts. And that was with San Francisco, of course, started. Dallas kind of came in and just smashed them the week before. And then, we all kind of wondered what they were going to be able to actually do against Seattle. Would they be able to rebound from them? Would they be able to do it? And a lot of people, because, it's Seattle. They're not exactly the greatest team. They're kind of my co-host Seth, yeah, exactly, up and down, and my co-host said that they were kind of his dark horse candidate at the beginning of the season for a Super Bowl chance, and of course, it is what it is. It looked like they're going to win it, and then Locke led a very good last drive down the field. They win. And, it kind of like really sat there and you really started thinking like, okay, what caused them to lose this time? The Philly defense is supposed to be this all shock and awe defense that a lot of teams should really just bow down to, but that's not been the case the last 3 weeks. They've been kind of in shell shock is what it feels like.
Yeah, and I would actually, it wasn't mine, but the fact that Drew Lock pulled it off and it wasn't Geno Smith does surprise me, although I almost actually flipped my pick to Philly. So the only reason it isn't my number one, but I've got a couple. There's a couple. Atlanta losing to Carolina is pretty much is a disgrace. Too. Like Arthur Smith needs to just pack up. Like I don't believe in this guy. I've had some debates on it on some other shows.
Well, Tyler Hinkey's already been named a starter for the next game.
That shows you the state of your franchise. When not that he's a complete scrub, but when you're resorting to Taylor Hinkey, that's not a good sign. No. But no, I went on an audio only one on X, and they were saying it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and we were talking about the NFC South, something me and you've talked about, and we're going to get into like firing candidates for head coaches mostly. And I brought up Arthur Smith, and I get their argument. It was NFL rumors. He's really tapped into stuff. And his whole thing was that the Atlanta owner doesn't seem to want to do it, which I can get. But why wouldn't you? Do you really believe in the guy? Like, I'm not seeing it. Their road performances have been abysmal. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I do not believe in the guy.
No, I don't believe in him at all.
I think it's not only an Arthur Smith problem. I think you got a quarterback in Desmond Ridder that is not really good for that system. He is a great running quarterback. And when they brought in Marcus Mariota, who walked out on the team last year because they promoted Desmond Ridder, you basically just took an older version of Desmond Ridder. He walked away, and then you put the same guy into the same offensive scheme. He's not accurate. He holds on the ball very long. I mean, a lot of people will bust on Justin Fields, but Desmond Ridder is doing the same thing, if not worse.
And also the home and road thing. He can kind of throw the ball at home, but he runs more effectively. But he's been so disappointing. It's just like, how are you riding with this guy? Like, I don't understand it, honestly. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me at all.
Well,
I don't know how you stick with him. He's not a starting quarterback in the league, and it's really ripping apart the rest of their team because they've got 2 good running backs. They've actually had a solid defense for large parts of the season. Yeah. You got Kyle Pitts, if you could figure it out. You got Drake London. I've already brought up, you got Robinson Algier. Like, man, it's not hard to figure it out. My shocking loss, okay, I'm going to Philly, I'm really questioning if they're broken, but maybe they'll rebound with the loss of the Giants, pick up some momentum, but I just don't see them as having a snowball's chance.
There is one other thing I actually noticed when I was watching the highlights on the Philly game is that sometimes I think that Jalen Hurts' arm strength is kind of overrated because there was a couple plays where he threw the ball and it was behind the running back.
It took everything to get it out there too.
And as an Alabama fan, I wasn't a big fan of his because he was more of a run threat, which you see actually shown in the Philadelphia since he's been up there with the Eagles. And, that's 2 picks that Julian Love got by him just severely.
That last one was special, right? Wasn't that last one was special?
Yes.
That last pick at the end.
The tap on the outside, that was great. Kept them both.
But you nailed it. The arm strength isn't there. And I was, what's funny? I missed the game. I was doing Frozen Tundra. So I watched the highlights today. And I was thinking the same freaking thing. I was like, but I was thinking it before I saw the play. I knew they lost. And I'd heard some chatter on why, but I wanted to watch the highlights. I wish I could have watched more. I watched like 25 minutes of highlights. And I'm like, why haven't they been taking deep shots this year? Does Hurts, can he not get the ball out there? And then I saw it in the game and I was like, that's why.
Yeah.
He's got A.J. Brown, Devonta Smith. There's no excuse. Goddard being out hurts, but I'm kind of with you, man. It seems their
Goddard is
defensive
good at
problems
keeping
seem their
the
defensive. Yeah,
Goddard's good at keeping the safeties honest. So if you
yeah.
got two guys doing verticals and they're going trying to throw deep, they're not going to look on Goddard and say, "Okay, I need to cover this guy because he's going to get a first down," by just simply basically Travis Kelsey grab the ball, turn around, run up 3 yards, first down, and now they can actually ball hawk whenever they need to.
I do question Jalen Hurts. You're more the college expert than me. I'm going to be doing a ton of research. Um, I actually have got a panel for our mock draft thing. I'm pretty excited. I don't think I'm going to add a fifth. I think it's going to be me and you. I've got a guy called the mock draft guy on Twitter. I'm pretty excited. And Joe from Frozen Tundra. So I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I think we'll do 2 or 3 pre-draft episodes. Hurts has the Joe's adding some comments. Let me see what he's got. Hurts has the advantage of an elite team covering his flaws and deficiencies. I agree. He's a heck of a runner. He's got some elite lower leg strength for a quarterback. You got to give him props. The push, whatever how you call it. I flipped it, man. Dang it. Hold on 1 second. Audio's being weird. It wouldn't work without him being as strong as he is. You know what I mean?
Well, even last year, I mean, like when a lot of people were really talking about Miles Sanders, and the fact that he left, they're like, what are they losing? They really didn't lose anything with Miles Sanders being sent to another team or going into free agency. They actually, in my opinion, upgraded by getting DeAndre Swift. To me, Miles Sanders cashed in on a really good year behind probably the best running line in the league right now. And, they still got Gainwell. They still got weapons. It's just what is going on in Jalen Hurts' mind, and if he could actually process, maybe do some more stuff to where, you're running slants, 10-yard slants, and then probably hit one deep. But right now, I don't see it.
It feels like everything's in that 5 to 10 yard range for the most part, and that gets easy to cover after a while. Like that's unfortunately really defensible. And Pete Carroll, even though he's got an undermanned team, he's a smart coach. He's gonna, if you make it easy on him, he's gonna figure it out. You know what I mean? Okay, I got to get to mine.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering if Philly's broken. We're going to talk more Philly in a minute, but I am concerned they're just. I heard it on Bill Simmons, and I think I talked to you about it last night.
Mm-hmm.
San Fran is going to boat race Philly in the playoffs. Absolutely. I heard on Bill Simmons, but I've been thinking it all year. Outside of San Fran's 3 games where Trent Williams and Debo were hurt, and honestly, CMC had, if you saw his arms, he had bruises all over, but he was still playing. He was banged up. Outside of those 3 games that they lost, and they were all close, and the defense did look suspect, they have looked like by far and away the best team in football. But I'm starting to wonder if this is a case of a season where it's them and then everyone else who is wildly up and down, especially this season where quarterback play has been pretty dismal for some reason. We'll have to get into this. I don't know why rushing attacks are so down this year, man.
It's because the offenses are going more towards pass.
They're trying to do like little screen passes, 5-yard passes to make up for the run. And
trust me, I see them a lot as a Bears fan. It's sickening.
It really adds a lot when you have an effective running game, though. Like it's a special weapon when you have it, and that's what San Fran has. That frankly, on that level, just pure running back. And nobody else has that in the NFL. Not even close. You could like talk me into some teams that have a rush, like a quarterback that can scramble, but no one's got a CMC. No. And I put up a Twitter poll. I don't know if you saw it earlier. I asked people, I'm going to go pull it up right now. It'll be kind of fun to look at it live. Millie Goats actually just commented on it. He can't make it on the show. He was going to be the other guy I was going to bring on. I'll send you some of his stuff. Their show's great. AK from Millie Goats. I put it out, and I knew this was going to happen. I said, okay, people, if you're a 49ers fan, I appreciate their awesomeness. Who would you actually pick as MVP of their team? I don't think it should be a quarterback-only award. Me and Pete from Foxborough Fellows talked about this.
Yes.
I hate the fact that they make it quarterback only, and I love Purdy. So I threw Purdy up, CMC, Debo, and then I put Bosa on there. Who do you think's winning that poll right now?
I would hope that it's McCaffrey, but a lot of people right now, according to ESPN, and I was going to tell you this, is that Purdy right now is what they see as the favorite to win it this year.
Let me actually look at the. Yeah, he is on Fox Sports. We
Mm-hmm.
weren't going to get into it yet, but now the Ron MVP, we'll spit. It's fun. We're having
Do you
fun.
want to talk about your surprise and loss first?
It's just the way the Cowboys showed up. It's that they didn't.
Did they?
Again, when they needed, they didn't. They do this crap where they think that they can ride on talent alone. And it feels like the same thing that happens every time. A team gets physical with them on the road, when they're on the road, punches them in the mouth, and then they have no answer. And I should have started with that because I live in Texas.
Yeah.
I get so tired of hearing about them. It feels like the same thing over and over. I'm mostly disappointed with Dak. That was abysmal. You've got some stuff. What stats you got?
Oh, dude. So basically, what I was
Freaking
going to say
awful.
is after Dallas has won 5 straight, basically Super Dak found his kryptonite up in Buffalo. And when you sit there and you see how many passing yards he only had 134, and he threw an interception. He's still having an MVP season, but if anything, this loss sunk it. And before this game, for those 5 games where they won them straight, they scored no less than 33 points a game. So a lot of people looked at them as world beaters, and like you kind of said, they went up to Buffalo, and when they did it up against San Francisco and in Philly in the first game, they got punched in the mouth and they folded like a cheap lawn chair in the backyard, and it's unreal.
Keep it going, man. I love it. You're cooking.
It's just you don't have a running game. Really,
it's disappointing.
Dallas has no running game. They have Tony Pollard, and I do like Rico Doodle. I think he's pretty good. But you don't have that big Hulk that you had last year with Ezekiel Elliott, even though he only got you 3 yards a carry. You need 5 yards, he's going to get you 3. And whenever you had that big beast that can actually punch it in, Mike McCarthy was talking about running the ball more this year, and he hasn't. So
yeah, except for against Philly, but everyone's been able to. Like I was shocked watching the highlights of that Seattle game because Walker was just running all over Philly, and that's been their strength. And it kind of seems like everyone's been able to figure out how to snatch Philly's heart right out of their chest. And Dallas, I was impressed when Dallas did that to Philly, but now I'm like, oh, everyone can do that at Philly because Seattle sucks at running the ball. Like they're worse than Dallas. They're worse than Dallas. Ooh, okay. Joe, he's got some good stuff. Purdy isn't what he looks like. It's another hurt situation. Perfect situation for the guy. That team with those weapons covers his. I do agree. I like his accuracy, but the games early this season, the team's weapons covers his flaws. Once Debo went down, you started to see Purdy throwing picks and losing games. Not saying he sucks. I agree. I don't think Purdy's a top 5 guy, but I think he's a good play. He's perfect for their system, just like Hurts is. And when you take any pieces away from the system, it exposes his flaws. So I agree with Joe. I don't think Purdy should be the MVP. He's a great player. Well, let me put it this way. He can play great in that system, but I would have sorry, Dak I don't even want to talk about him for MVP after that game. Like he needs to slide out of the top 5. You can't not show up for a game that big with honestly now if they'd won it, they'd be the 2 seed. And they needed that because now going on the road, yes, they'll have potentially easy game. The Bucs are starting to get hot, but against the NFC South winner. But the way Dallas plays on the road, I don't know if I trust them to even go in Tampa and win. You would think so, but they've laid way too many eggs on the road this year, and you can't do that and be a serious contender. I'm sorry, you just can't.
Well, I mean,
unless San Fran gets hurt and they steal the 1 seed, that's their only chance.
But I mean, we've talked about it before. They got stars on both sides of the ball. You look at Purdy right now. Me personally, like I said before, I think McCaffrey is the MVP. I mean, the dude has over 1,800 yards total scrimmage yards and 20 touchdowns. And Joe did bring up a good point with Purdy. I mean, he's got 29-7 with 30,797 yards, but a good percentage of that went to McCaffrey. He's got 7 receiving touchdowns and over 500 receiving yards. Brandon Ayuk is a really good wideout that would probably be a number 1 on other teams as well. As just San
He's got over 1,000 yards this year. I was shocked when I looked that up. I was like, Ayuk's got over 1,000. I like him, man. If he was on the Packers, he'd be the 1, especially on my team.
Well, yeah. I mean, But no, he's right. I mean, Purdy benefits with the fact that they have a very strong running game and can do the play action passes, which is Kyle Shanahan's offensive scheme. And that defense, I mean, come on. It's like playing
Oh,
Madden on all
well,
Madden level.
okay, Joe. I hope you're still here. I gotta make a Packer point really quick.
Well,
It's not just for the Packers. When I was on Frozen Tundra, and last night, Frozen Tundra Network, and I was saying how we don't have. I like Rashawn Gary. When Alexander's right and healthy, he's a good corner.
mm-hmm.
He can be beat though, but he's actually had some stretches where he's been elite. And that's just being subjective. He has. I like Kenny Clark. He's a good player. We don't have anyone on our defense, even Gary when he's flashing, that plays as good as Bosa, Warner, Greenlaw, Ward, Hargrove. Can I keep going? There's 5 guys. Huh?
Chase Young.
Yeah, Chase Young has potential. I really like that move. He's been
fighting the injury bug, but still, I mean, the fact that he's
I almost threw him in too.
Yeah.
So we don't have any. We talked about on my Sunday show. We don't have any horses. I'm sorry. You can blame as much as you want on Barry, the defensive coordinator, and the scheme matters. But you could put the players in the wrong position at some point, other than against Detroit. The way we rolled over the Packers, it was disappointing that we gave up a historic passer rating in Lambeau to Baker Mayfield. Wow.
Sorry.
Wow. Like, yeah, Barry sucks, but I'm sorry. We don't have any elite players on D if they didn't let that happen.
Yeah.
And they gave up. It's the players too, man. We don't, like, even if we had LaFlores in here, like, how good would the defense be? Like, even on Frozen Tundra, he's like, what about top 15? I'm like, you're kind of proving my point that we don't have any elite talent, and we need to start stacking it.
In my honest opinion, I mean, I heard a lot of
Packers
opinions about the Bears last night, but one of the things I can say, it's all good. It's all good. But me and you've talked before, and we've collaborated before and everything, and you found out that I'm a coach. I actually coach football. And one of the things I always taught my players is that, as my job as your coach is to teach you your technique and teach you execution and stuff like that. Get you mentally prepared for that game. As far as actually executing the plays on the field, that is the player's job. My job is to get you ready. Your job is to finish. And whenever
that's where I was at. I was like,
you got Jair Alexander, who could potentially be a Pro Bowl player, but that's only when he's healthy. You do have a possible star in the making with Luca Van Ness, and I wanted Luca Van Ness for our team, but he's not really playing. And then you look at Gary, he's getting up there.
Which is so weird. Why is he not playing? Preston's not doing anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Gary's had flashes, but then he disappears for games.
Yeah.
He is coming off an ACL, so I got to give him that. To even have almost 10 sacks isn't bad. I've liked Kenny Clark, but when our rush defense sucks every year and Kenny Clark is one of the guys up front, I put a little bit of the blame on him, even though he's been a Pro Bowler. So, I like the Lucas Van Ness pick. I really did. But how much, has he? I'd have to actually look at his stats. Has he actually gotten that much run? I barely see him whenever I watch Packers.
I look up stuff on PDF quite a bit. And,
I figured you did. Yeah.
And right now, your defense is ranked 17th with points, 23rd with yards.
23rd, yeah.
23rd. Which, and that's not elite. That's not a brick wall. That's I mean,
below average.
I'm pretty sure that they're going to have a field day with my Bears like that guy on your show.
Hey, we should do one after that Packer Bear game. That'll be fun. It may not matter for either team because honestly, I don't even really. I'm just going to be honest. I don't really want to see my team in the playoffs. I just don't. We've shown potential, yes, but the Chiefs aren't anything special, and Detroit has proven. Yeah, they can flash, but they're nothing super special in my opinion either. I don't really want to see the Packers in the playoffs. I think they're just going to get destroyed.
So,
personally,
Luca Van Ness, and here's a no cap stat for you. He never started at Iowa. He never started a single game in his whole collegiate career at Iowa, but he had a lot of potential. In limited time so far this season, he has 3 sacks, 21 solo tackles, 7 for a loss. And I mean, that's still pretty good. He's getting to the quarterback and hidden, but he's just not getting that much play time. And, that's unfortunately a byproduct, as I will be honest, for the coaching. Coach should be able to get a player like that on the field more. If you're going to
Sorry about that.
invest a high round,
I dipped out. You might
you
have
did.
to. Now, by accident, I hit end. Sorry.
Well,
Joe has some Packer stuff to say after you're done. Go ahead, finish your point, though.
But I mean, if really and truthfully you invest a high draft pick, I think he was picked 15th overall for y'all.
Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, he. You would think that they would try to get him out there a little bit more often, get him more acclimated to the pro game, and he has the measures, he has to, he can do it. I mean, he could be a nightmare in the future, but right now, as far as that's the only thing I can agree on with, as far as blaming anything on coaching.
It's funny because I'm like, I obviously want the defensive coordinator gone. That's what everyone's saying. I get that. And I think they might have potentially have some elite talent. But what I've seen so far, and yes, it is in Barry's system, I'm just when I'm watching games and we've spent all this draft capital, but a lot of it was even before Barry. He's only been in his 3rd season. So you can only put so much of the blame on him. Right. And to me, it looks like we've got like 5 or 6 replaceable guys on defense. And I want to be aggressive for once, like we've done in the past. I brought up this point multiple times. I'm kind of repeating myself. I want to go out and get somebody's a serious difference maker. Like, what if Joe? I'm trying to remember who the Raiders fan is. It might be Joe. Can't remember. But I think it's Joe. I can't remember. Somebody I talked to him for the last night. If Max Crosby, I doubt this. This would be
Max
a
Crosby
dream.
It'd
be a dream. But there does tend to be those defensive guys that are stars that do get on a crap team that get frustrated. It's been happening frequently, like every couple of years. If that potentially comes up in free agency or in trade, I don't know who the player would be. I'd just like to see it. It's probably more likely in the draft where we trade up and get lucky and land a star. But I'm just tired of our team being conservative with this crap. And that's where I want to see him push forward. Joe said he thinks that they have elite talent on D. They have some elite talent on D. I want to know which players, Joe. But I actually lent some credence to the article I mentioned yesterday. I think the Packers should go to a 4-3 and put Gary's hand in the dirt. It's interesting. That'd be an interesting thought.
It would be a good edge rusher. I mean, he already kind of does it now in the 3-4, but yeah, I could see that. But also at the same time, the best way to upgrade your pass defense is to get a legit pass rusher. Look at what happened to the Bears. I mean, our defense has steadily improved ever since we got swept from Washington.
It really has. There's been some y'all didn't have a coordinator change, but there's been some interesting shifts in the middle of the season, and the Bears D has been playing better. That was a disappointing loss. I'm sorry, man. We haven't got to talk it yet. How you want to hit it really quick? How are you feeling about the Bears game?
If a ball hits you in the hands as a receiver in the NFL, you're supposed to catch it.
I'm sorry. I didn't get to see it live. I had to watch the highlights.
Oh, man, I'm sorry. My brother actually.
I was at Chili's. They had Patriots. They had the stupid Giants game, the Packers game.
I was at the hockey game, and my brother texted me and was like, "Hey, just to let you know, you might not want to watch the highlights to the Washington to the Cleveland Chicago game. You'll be disappointed." And I was like, "Well, I'm a Bears fan. I'm disappointed half the time anyway." So, but yeah, it's just one of those things where it's just like an all shucks moment. As far as stats go in regards to the Bears, we have lost 3 games going into the 4th quarter with a 10-point lead this year.
That's sad. That's just. What do you blame? Is it Fields? Is it the coaching?
Well, in some parts I do blame Fields because there's a lot of times where he will make the most bonehead decision at the most crucial time. The first time when we lost to Detroit in the first game, it was because of a fumble. If it wasn't a fumble, it's been an interception. If it hasn't been that, I mean, this past game it was another turnover. And, he got us back down the field, but also at the same time, the offense coordinator, please get rid of him. because when you throw, I mean, you were talking about earlier with screen passes can be a very good weapon as a as a former defensive coordinator. I can sit here and tell you, I look at a screen pass as a running play, and the only way that they can really be successful if you take shots down the field. You do 20 yards or more, 10, 15 yards or more, and then open up that chance to actually get the screenplay to work. If you do it 10 to 13 times, as the Bears have done this year, each game, not just one, not that two, but all 15 games, it's not a surprise. They're like, oh, they're throwing another screen. I mean,
Look at
literally,
that. Was that another screen?
oh, wait, here it comes. Another screenplay. So, I mean,
that's kind of what the Packers have been doing recently. It's like, ooh, another jet sweep. That's not predictable.
well, I could tell you not to copy our offense because it sucks.
Yeah. 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 Our offense, you know what's funny is Love actually didn't have like a statistically bad game, but and Joe's gonna get sad by this. Joe said he's been adding a ton of comments. He's doing good. Jar and Campbell, so he's saying Alexander and Campbell are elite. And the funny thing is, I'm not sure if Campbell still is, and Alexander's ticking me off because he's not playing. He said the rest are range from good to slightly above average. I am not sure. I agree with you to a degree. I'm not sure about Slayton up front. Savage, I don't like him at that safety spot.
I was looking at my stuff, at the comments. I want to read.
And then he said there just isn't enough talent in Chicago. They need a few more star players. They have huge opportunity in the draft. I agree with that too. We went a little off script. We did some more Packers and Bears stuff than I planned, but it's been fun.
Well, I mean, I'm also the guy that last night during the Frozen Tundra was saying, if we were to actually draft Marvin Harrison Jr. with the first overall pick, and then, if we really wanted to go the route of letting Fields get traded somewhere else and then picking up, another quarterback or even, something to really solidify defense. I think the defense is actually starting to gel now. It's really the offense that's really the big problem that we have. We do have Cole Kmet, we do have DJ Moore, but we need another weapon on the outside or possibly even a running back. And that's why, as far as like running backs in the NFL, typically you want to target them in the second round because they don't really have that shelf life like they used to. And Estime over in Notre Dame would really be an ideal fit for y'all. And if he was to fall to us because we don't have a second round pick in the third round, I'd love it. I'd be like, I think I won the lottery. So
that, I agree with you. Like, I like DJ Moore, but they could use another receiver. I'm sorry about the Chase Claypool thing. It just didn't work out.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I don't understand why they did that to begin with. I didn't like him when he was in Pittsburgh.
No, he was terrible. As he's done nothing in Miami, unless I missed it, right? Has he done anything at all?
Hasn't done anything. But give us a 5th round pick for a 2nd round pick. Woo.
Yeah, there you go. They could get both. Joe says realistically trade down one of your top 5s and get a second for your running back pick, which is very possible. I like that. That'd be interesting, man.
But how many? I mean, if you were to actually trade down, just hypothetically thinking, right now you got the first overall pick right now because of Carolina, and then we're hovering about the 5th or 6th pick. How far down would you be willing to trade? Because you're looking at, I do not want Drake May.
You don't want Drake May?
I do.
I honestly wouldn't either. I wouldn't mess with it. I really wouldn't.
Bo Nix is someone I would actually probably say, okay, maybe Bo Nix. Do not like you, Khalid Williams. And I know, like what your boy said last night, as far as the whole, there's just so much that really reads to me. He's kind of on the smallish side, which I like the bigger guys, because I want them to be able to take a hit. It's kind of like what Carolina's faced with right now. If Bryce Young gets popped one good time, is he going to be able to get up? And that's just something I really think about. And, if there's someone that wants to trade a 1st, maybe a 2nd or 3rd pick, which they won't trade both, but just hypothetically thinking, how far down would the Bears be able to go? Because personally, I think if really and truthfully, if they're to let go of Justin Fields, go with Jaden Daniels from from the
I'd be
LSU.
going Jaden Daniels too, just based on the little bit of tape I've seen and everything I've heard recently. But
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely going to be doing some heavy research on it. Unfortunately, this is where I get burned not watching college football. But I do have a
Wow.
wife, and I already take a lot of time doing this, so
Mm-hmm.
I pick my battles.
Yeah, no, I get you there.
um. Okay, man. We've done MVP. We've done. I'm just going to finish the Cowboy thought really quick.
Go ahead.
Why? Why do they suck so bad on the road? Why can't they figure this out? So we talked about San Fran's talent. They
Mm-hmm.
also have one of the best offensive lines in football. They
Mm-hmm.
have Debo, who's one of the most unique weapons in NFL history. There hasn't
Mm-hmm.
been too many guys like him. I heard a Darren Sproles comparison. I like it, but
Mm-hmm.
honestly, Debo's even bigger. He's 6 feet. Sproles was like 5'7", so it's a decent comparison though. Um, Joe had a comment on the draft thing. We'll get to in a second, but they have Debo, one of my favorite players when he's balling. McCaffrey, obviously. Um, you got Ayuk. You've got Kittle. You've got the best left tackle in football, probably one of the best. You've got a
Mm-hmm.
stupidly good offensive line. And I think Joe's right. Purdy benefits from it all, but at least he contributes to that system. And when it's all flowing, it's special. Philly, something's weird because no one's hurt other than Goddard. And that has just been killing them. Like, I'm starting to wonder, like, they have not looked the same since he went down. So we talked it earlier, but it's just I
Well,
guess for me, it's just Dallas because the way they rolled over, at least Philly played a game, even though it was a disappointing game.
mm-hmm.
Dallas didn't play a game. Dallas
No,
didn't show up. Dak didn't show up. The defense looked. Um, they
maybe
like
it was
man.
too cold.
I've got Cook in fantasy this week. I almost wish I'd played last week
Mm-hmm.
because that was special. Since they fired Dorsey, we talked this. Have you noticed the shift in Buffalo?
Oh yes, yeah.
It's
No,
they're starting to scare me as a dark horse to challenge Baltimore for the AFC because I don't see it with KC.
it's possible. I mean, their defense has
Unlikely, but
definitely increased their intensity, and that's a big
well,
thing. And
how many
yeah,
starts they lose, and all those guys now have gotten more run and gotten more fluid in that system. But they lost Milano for the year. I'd have to look it up. I think they've lost five
maybe it's
starters.
White, their
Yeah,
their
White.
shutdown corner.
Von Miller's been a shell
Mm-hmm.
for the most part, but they lost two or three other starters. I can't remember who the other ones are off the top of my head, but um, okay, Joe, let's get to his comment. Depends. If you're wanting a quarterback, I would trade down 2 spots and pick up a boatload of picks. If you're not going to go quarterback with the first overall, like if you're willing to wait for Knicks, you could trade down to low teens, pick up a first next year and a second this year.
I can agree with that. And one of the things
That's a
that
good
I
point.
said is, as far as New England goes, you could trade down that one spot, get that first pick, possibly get Marvin Harrison Jr. if he comes out. If he does not, you could trade down a little bit further down if you wanted to. You'd still have a chance at Jaden Daniels, just hypothetically saying if they were to move on from Fields and get someone like Roma Dunze over in Washington.
I was just about to
And
ask you if you'd go for that. I think
I would go for that too.
what do you think? What pick do you think he'll go? Probably like 7 or 8.
He's going in the top 10 at least. I would say right now, you're looking at Arizona. They probably need a receiver. New York, they need a quarterback, but they need a receiver too. I mean, they got Darren Waller. That's who's injury
Checking
prone
out.
these days.
So
So
Caleb Williams. I'm just looking at 1. Drake May, Harrison at 3,
I
Latham, the
would say
offensive
it'd
tackle
probably
from
be 8.
Bama, Latu from UCLA at 5 to Chicago, Jaden Daniels 6. This is just 1. I'm just looking to see this thing's must be messed up. They got Neighbors at number 8 on a mock draft site.
Well,
How far down is Adunze? Dang, man. He's not even. I'm down to 12 and I don't see him yet. I'm on walterfootball.com. It's just, I'm honestly, I'm not the draft guy to talk to, but I'm not seeing him. I'm down at 16. He's not even on there. I've heard all about him too. I'm surprised he's not
yeah,
on that list.
yeah. No, Roma Dunze has been the number one target for MPJ over there in Washington. I mean, they got the receivers like Trey Franklin from Oregon. I mean, he's been a really good dog, but he's not there's a really big thing about his size. He has kind of like that DJ Moore mold, but I mean, size don't really matter. It's some people say it's hard, but you can't coach speed. Dude's fast.
No. And to me, just from what I've seen from Harrison, I haven't done a bunch of research on the other ones, but he definitely looks like just an elite, just a ridiculous talent that you don't want to pass up on. Like whatever team gets him, unless he gets injured, I think you've got
a cornerstone.
You've got a Pro Bowler perennially. Like, and I know they said on Frozen Tundra that doesn't matter. Yeah, it does. Like, it's not the fact that you're the Pro Bowl game doesn't matter. It's the accolade of being one of the best players at your position, and being a difference maker. That's why I like using the Pro Bowl thing, or even you could say All Pro. Joe, thanks, man. We're gonna get into our picks. If you want to check out the whole thing later, I'll send it to you. It'll be on YouTube. Okay. Thanks, you want to join sometime? That'd be fun, man. Okay. All right. Let me look at my other topics, and then I think we're gonna. Let's save the fire candidates for later. We kind of already talked that a little bit. All right, man. You have any other Week 15 thoughts before we do some Week 16 rundown previews? It's actually the previews are one of my favorite parts of the whole week. I love it.
I mean,
I get to talk Bill into bad picks. It's great.
What is Pittsburgh going to do with their quarterback situation?
God, man. Like, honestly, my dad made a good point. I don't know if you saw that one on Saturday. You got to start holding. While I love the guy, I really do. But don't you got to hold the head coach a little bit accountable now? Yeah. Like, for their ineptitude on offense and Trubisky being this bad. Like, I'm sorry, but outside of Warren making some occasional plays and Pickens being a big play threat occasionally, like that offense was with Canada, let's move it 5.5 yards and then a 70-yard bomb. And they did that every week. So at least they show the big play potential. But what's sad is they're just so bad. It reminds me of New England, except they're not as quite as incompetent, but they're not much better. You know what I mean? Their defense is with TJ Watt. This is why I like having a game wrecker. There's just not many of them. But when you've got a guy like TJ Watt, he can swing a game or two. Like there's only a few guys like that in the league. This is probably a bad comparison, but do you remember with the Cowboys like 4 or 5 years ago? He's still really good. There was a season, I'm trying to remember what year it was. I think it was like 2018, 2019. Might even been like 2017. DeMarcus Lawrence, he was having a season. And I remember this one game, he had 3 sacks and he had a strip sack against Arizona. And he just wrecked the game. I want a player like that for my team that just wrecks the game. Lawrence can still make some plays, but TJ Watt is just on that level where he can swing a game or two for Pittsburgh, and that defense itself can swing a game or two, and that's what they've done. Not that they're one of the best defenses in football, but they can make plays. It's sad what's happened with that offense because it's not like they're completely bereft of talent.
No,
they've got playmakers. Like traded Warren to my dad in fantasy. He can make some plays, man. Najee Harris to me is a bust. I don't believe in him.
I agree with that.
At all, unfortunately. It's kind of.
I think they got a starting to make him with Warren.
I agree. I think they should roll with Warren, and you're not going to fire the HC, but they got to go get the right offensive coordinator and replenish some talent and get a new quarterback. I don't believe in Pickett. I think you've seen enough. I've seen enough. Hasn't America seen enough at this point? Like, it's just the guy doesn't have it. Like, I'm trying to be objective. I've seen enough from Love that I want to see more. I've seen some bad, but I've seen some special stuff too, like even against Tampa, that I'd like to see more. I don't know if we have a franchise guy. That's just me being honest. I don't know. Joe's gone, so he can't yell at me. But there's other quarterbacks where I think I've seen enough to know what they are, and unfortunately with Pickett, I don't think it's there. Like in the NFC North, if we run through the quarterbacks, want to see more from Love. I personally think I've seen enough from Fields, but I kind of still have a little bit of a wonder in the right system if you might see more. But I personally don't think you're going to ever have a top 5 passer in the NFL. I just don't think that's the guy's ceiling. in the right system, you might get something closer to Lamar Jackson, who I also don't think is
Hmm.
even close to a top 5 passer, but with his legs is
That's
maybe a
that's
top
his.
5 maybe a top 5 weapon,
Yeah,
maybe.
no, definitely a top five weapon. But
Yeah,
like you're saying, golf. We've talked about it a few times. It depends on
I
which
just
golf you get.
yeah,
Do you get
which
what just
golf?
happened with Denver, or do you get the guy that in the Super Bowl?
Missed that
And
pick. I'm really disappointed with that one, man. I'm so mad. We were 9-7 on our picks, and that was one of the stupid ones we missed. And I almost flipped from Philly because of Slay being out, but I almost did it. I was so close. It was oh sucked because we were so close on our picks. Hopefully Bill's feeling better so I can have him on so we
yeah,
can talk all that. But yeah,
but if you were to
man.
look at Minnesota and everything, you look at Cousins about to enter the twilight of his career. So I mean, they're going to probably have to get someone new soon too. So
Yep.
I
So the
mean,
whole NFC North outside of maybe Green Bay, because I mean
in all
we
honesty, this was if there was a season for Detroit to actually make the move and actually challenge, like get to where they are right now, this was the season because everyone else is in rebuilding mode or has been
yeah.
rebuilding for the last couple of years, and they actually struck when the iron is hot. Now, as far as golf is concerned, no, I don't think he's your long-term solution. And a lot of people in this past draft were screaming at Detroit, saying, "Look, you might." Want to seriously look at getting a quarterback. Now they stuck with their guns and they picked someone later on down the road. But at the same time, you look at some of the picks that they met. Jabari Gibbs, I was not really so sure about him. I had him rated as a second round talent. And then you go and
Hmm,
get Jack
interesting.
Campbell is also a second round talent. You had a chance to get Jalen Carter. You should have went with that. Or Devin Witherspoon,
Oh,
really boost
Carter.
that.
I do like Gibbs. He's flashed some potential, but
Yeah,
yeah, man, Carter's like you could have gotten Carter. You
like
made a
that.
mistake if you didn't, right?
Yeah.
Like you absolutely you had to do that.
You had a
I agree
chance
with
of
you.
getting, I believe, Witherspoon and Carter. I'm not sure about Witherspoon, but I know they had a chance at Carter.
Yeah.
And it's just Campbell, he's going to be pretty good. Gibbs, like you said, he flashes that potential, but you could have probably got him in the second round.
You know what? It's possible. He could have maybe fell to the late first round. Campbell for sure. That one was a reach. It felt like a reach at the time, and I've seen more potential from Van Ness this season than Campbell.
Right.
But it's a play. Yeah, you're nailed it. It's Detroit. That was their season, and even at what's the record? 11-4. I gotta look. We're about to get into our picks, but let me check it out. Let's take a look. Standings.
Good old ESPN.
10-4 or 11? Yeah, 10-4, right?
10-4.
No, I use Yahoo only because I like their stats breakdown,
Yeah.
but I also look at the Ringer. They got some good stuff. Yeah, Detroit's 10-4, and I don't even believe in them at all. I'm sorry.
Mm.
They're the 3 seed. Uh, good for them. So, ironically, I'm confused by this. If you know the answer on this one, why is Dallas in at the 2 instead of Philly? I thought they didn't have the tiebreaker. Do they now
Uh,
because of the loss?
because of the loss.
Division. Oh yeah. Oh. It's also because Dallas has played 5 games in the division, and Philly's only played 4, and Philly's about to play the Giants twice. So if Philly goes 5-1, I'm pretty sure because Philly had to lose 2, that Philly would still be the 2 seed. Okay,
So
but
just a crazy thing also to add on is that Detroit plays Minnesota 2 times in the next 3 weeks, and then also plays Dallas in between that. It's a pretty distinct possibility. What if golf does what golf does and loses those all 3 games? Let's just say they do, and
uh,
Minnesota just sneaks in.
man, with that defense, wouldn't that be hilarious? It's sad because I don't believe in Nick Mullins. And I
No,
also heard this on the BS, Bill Simmons, but they have like a 3-week test with these backup quarterbacks. Can you play good past 3 weeks? Because that's when people get enough tape on you to make adjustments. And
right.
that's what happened to Dobbs. He just fell apart, and it's happened with other guys. But I'm going to be honest, I think there's a potential for it. I wouldn't know how much of a chance I'd give it. But with the way Minnesota's defense is playing and with Jefferson back, and if Chandler can give Minnesota a consistent running game, they may, even with Mullins, be the most complete, well-rounded overall team in the NFC North. And it pains me to say it because I love my Packers, but they're
And they play
you
y'all
don't
too.
play the way they exactly we play them too. You don't play the way you did against the Giants and Tampa Bay on defense and get any credit from me at all. Zero. Like none. But I do think Minnesota actually, with the way their defense is playing, what
Mm-hmm.
are they right now? Are they up to the 6th?
7-7.
Seventh, and that's after that
Seven and
Cincinnati
seven.
game. No, yeah, the record 7-7. Their defense,
Yeah.
I think, is
Oh, it's
they were
sickening.
6th before that game. I'm gonna look.
Which is crazy because you look at what they lost last year with Dalvin Tomlinson, and also Hunter Henry is not going to be, or Hitman Harry is not exactly the player he used to be. But that defense was ranked 31st last year. And let me pull up their numbers real quick.
Yeah, I'm looking them up too. And then for the people listening, I think we're gonna start rolling through previews for this week. And
Yeah,
I don't know if Bill's gonna feel better, so I'm gonna make some picks, and we might have him on for another episode. I was gonna take a break for a week, but I may do a short fantasy football special
7th.
only with my dad. 7th, yeah, I thought so. It's pretty good, man.
That is a
Um,
huge turnaround.
that was another point I made on Frozen Tundra. How big of a jump can a coordinator make? It can be big, but I question the talent on the Packer D. I think we're going to get the answer next season if they bring most of the starters back. Because where was Minnesota last year? Weren't they like 28th in defense, 29th? They were in the
31.
mid to low 20s, and
They're
he's been
31.
accountable. 31.
They were 31. Because
Wow.
we actually did this breakdown before on my show where we actually broke down everyone's defense and everything like that. And then I found out that Brian Flores, who was your old Miami head coach, was going up there as a defensive coordinator. We kind of wondered, what is he going to be able to do? And I mean, right now, in all honesty, by looking at those numbers and seeing what he has done in less than a year with arguably less talent, he is potentially giving himself another head coaching job somewhere.
Oh, absolutely. The way he's been coaching his tail off, if he
He's
wanted
been
it,
killing it.
even with the stupid Buffalo game, Dan Quinn obviously is
Mm-hmm.
in there if he wants it. But I think he is enjoying all the weapons he's got in Dallas. Honestly, the way they played on Sunday on defense was just it wasn't just Dak. That was abysmal. On They just got smashed in the mouth, and they've got too many guys up front to get smashed in the mouth. But Minnesota, the crazy thing with them, I've watched some of their games. I know a few players. They're kind of doing it with a no-name defense, like outside of maybe Harrison Smith.
Mm-hmm.
They got some players playing well, but no one that you would think of in like the defensive player of the year discussion or guys that are big names. It's surprising that they pulled it off.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
really is.
it is. I mean,
It really is. I like our NFC North discussion. It's always fun because I like talking the whole division because I pay more attention to it than anything else. Quick thought. I'm just gonna make it quick. Atlanta sucks. Arthur Smith, deuces, bro. I'm surprised that Cleveland was struggling so much, but that is Joe Flacco. That's your Bears. They blew that game, but we've
yes,
talked that one.
yes, they did.
Try to look at the other games from last week. Just quick thoughts overall. Like, I would love to do a full recap episode. Okay, it was Thursday night last week, so it's been almost a week. The Raiders' historic turnaround, that was fun. Going from getting shut out 3-0 to Minnesota, which isn't that surprising when you look at their D, but considering
And
the
then
Raiders'
dropping a
talent.
bomb on the Chargers.
And then they set a record to go from being shut out to scoring 63 is the all-time record now.
Yeah.
And I was surprised they let Staley out of the locker room. They should just tell him to go home at halftime. That would have been the best message ever. That might have been you don't belong in the NFL in any capacity, dude, because you've squandered so much talent.
Well, and that's going to be one of the things we touch up tomorrow on my show. But I mean, just a little snippet of it. I mean,
Yeah, preview it, man. I might be on because the wife is pretty sick, so I actually might get to make it with you tomorrow.
okay,
Seriously, it's a possibility. I will hit you up early and let you know. I'd love to make it on that one. Wait. We're not going live though, right? Just video.
It'll be some video and also audio. I mean, I'll have my
Cool.
little headset on and everything like that, so that way I could do it on mine. But just thinking about Brandon Staley and the fact that he has he still has this belief that he really believes in himself. And this was said like 2 hours before he got canned.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just him that got canned. They let go of their GM who has been there for 10 years. I mean, it was very embarrassing. And when you have a team that has the stars that, you know, Los Angeles Chargers have, and I mean, really truthfully, I wish they were still in San Diego. It's really hard to say. They
Yeah, I don't
really
like the LA
feel,
thing. It's
yeah,
it's disappointing.
it is. And I mean, they're I kind of look at the Chargers as like the little brother of the Rams at this point, but you can't expect
Yeah,
to
that's a
really
good way to
keep
put it.
your job when a team beats you, hangs 63 points on you, and you're a defensive guru.
No.
You can't expect to be there. That I'm surprised he lasted till lunchtime. It was like they gave him his lunch, and there was like a little note on the little tray, and say, "Open this after you eat." And he opens it up and says, "Oh, by the way, you're fired." And it's
Sorry about all the camera adjustments. I was trying to
no,
get
you're
to them.
good, you're good. But
I needed a stand. I'm gonna be working on that.
felt like I was on the roller coaster. But
Just
you know,
let him have lunch. It was almost like his last. They want to give him his last supper, and then
yeah,
they were like,
exactly.
"You're out of here, man."
What would you like on your tombstone? I mean, the only thing I would wonder is if there was going to be a team that would actually give him a chance next year, which there probably will be. But
Sadly, you would hope
um,
not, but
but it'd be like the whole Josh McDaniels thing. So far, two of the coaches that I think that should have been let go have been let go already. And
mm-hmm.
there's Arthur Smith is another one that we've talked about. One of the guys that I think has been the most disappointing is the Saints. And
Yeah, honestly, while we're on it,
yeah,
we'll just finish it up in the next like 4 minutes, and we'll make the second hour our picks. Let's do it. Let's do fire candidates.
okay.
So we both said we had Staley, and then I'm getting ready to write my picks down because I'm gonna pitch it with Bill. If he's, I'm hoping he hops on. He actually might. I sent him the link. We're still going. I don't know if he'll. That'd be cool if he hopped on for the pick part.
That'd
That'd
be
be
cool.
actually pretty sweet. But Staley was everyone's number one, I think, probably. Um, it sucks for Frank Reich, but the way they looked, Carolina looked, it was hard to justify continuing to let him go. It was with Bryce Young, right? Like, I don't know how you keep the guy. Unfortunately, that one kind of sucks. So what are you
Well,
gonna
when
do?
your offense is basically run up the middle, throw a five and out, and then run up the middle, I mean, his offense, there was just no, they didn't mix it. It was kind of like I would say, Chicago Bears light, where they wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
take any deep shots. And a lot of people were really questioning Bryce Young's arm strength at this point because,
I am.
yeah, I mean, he
I don't see it.
and that's what's crazy is when he was in Alabama, you saw them take the shots. Now, there's a big difference between college talent and NFL talent. You
Yes,
can
that's
expose
true.
that in college. You can't do it in the NFL. And, I thought he actually had enough arm talent to be able to do it, but, we won't know until they actually try it.
Yeah, good point. Seriously, I I actually questioned that Bryce Young pick all along, and then we talked it on the phone last night. We talked about they didn't do him any favors at all.
No.
It doesn't have a great offensive line at all. I mean, it's
Yeah.
pretty poor. No running game,
Mm-hmm.
no receiving threats. It's just they
Adam
didn't do any
Thielen is your
favors at
number one
all.
receiver. Ooh.
Adam Thielen, good job. Trade your number one away to get the guy, and that was just
And
hey,
then
good for you guys. Good for
you
you
bring a
guys.
whole bunch of cast-offs from other teams that no one wanted.
You know what's funny is I think the whole NFC South should be on notice.
No, I agree. I agree.
Like coach wise, like let's just run through it. Todd Bowles. Yeah. I mean, they're actually looking better. They're on a 3-game win streak. Maybe if he wins the division and wins a playoff game or even competes in the playoff game, he saves his job. But I haven't believed in him. I mean, last year they were terrible. They've been heading the wrong direction. This is his third year, I think, now with them. He proved he couldn't coach in a head coach capacity before.
With the
Um,
Jets.
I with the Jets, yeah, I agree on Dennis Allen, man. Like, yes, they've won 2 in a row, but do you believe in the Dennis Allen Derek Carr combo? I'd almost
Oh
rather
no,
see Jameis Winston at this point, honestly.
I
Like, I
mean,
honestly would rather see Winston. I think it'd be more fun. It'd be a roller coaster, but at least you're going to have some more highs. Like, dang.
gonna be eating some
Atlanta,
W's.
Atlanta, how is Arthur Smith not on the hot seat with that team?
He should be.
And how are you running Ritter out there? They should have, yes, it's not he's not the GM, but come on, man. This is not hard. If you
No,
can't throw the ball with those running backs, power run it. I'd
yeah.
power run it 30 times a game, 35. I think they'd be 2 wins better if they'd done that. I'm serious. There's
Well,
2 or 3 games they could have won if they just smashed the rock because they can't
mhm.
throw it.
No,
Sad as it is, if you know you can't throw the ball, play action.
and
Especially with Bijan Robinson and Algier, I'd be doing that.
no, I agree. And I mean, Algier was actually a surprising
Mm-hmm.
rookie last
Well,
year. I mean,
I
he
had him
was
in
great
fantasy.
then.
Mm-hmm.
But going back, to Dennis Allen real quick. I mean, even before he became the Saints head coach, he was the head coach over in Oakland when they were still over there, and he went 8-28. And now,
Ooh,
with the
that's
Saints,
bad.
yeah,
That's bad, man.
and
That's dismal.
he's
Seriously.
13-17 after this winning streak that they are on right now with the Saints
2
and
games.
2-game
Gotta
winning
love it.
streak. Ooh. Uh, but they signed Derek Carr, who was arguably probably the second biggest free agent. I would
Mm-hmm.
consider Aaron Rodgers last year a free agent, even though he got traded. But
Yeah,
he,
yeah, I
he
can agree
was
with
the
that.
guy.
Mm-hmm.
You had Aaron Rodgers, who was the guy, and then you had Derek Carr, who was also a guy that you would want onto your team and everything. And it just I don't think it's really Derek Carr more than what they've been doing offensively. You have the weapons. You got Kamara. You got Chris Olave. You got Michael Thomas for like 3 games. You got offensive weapons there. You're just not utilizing them.
I
And
agree.
it's just like you kind of said, it would have been kind of fun watching Jameis Winston. But the whole reason you got Derek Carr is because everyone in their right mind said that Dennis Allen would probably be able to win his games if he had a competent quarterback behind center.
Yeah, and I think he's proven that he can't do it. So he's out. Um, in my opinion, they've already fired Frank Reich. You look at the NFC West. Obviously, I mean San Fran. He might be a head coach of the year candidate.
Yeah,
He probably should be. I don't see the Rams or Seahawks making a move. They're both Super Bowl winners, and their teams have actually probably the Rams have exceeded expectations, and Seattle
I agree.
has been on a downward slide, but I really don't think I can see them moving on from Pete Carroll.
No,
Can you? I can't see
no.
it.
I think
Arizona, I don't like this guy. Maybe they give him another year. I haven't seen it. They've been, other than a couple surprises, one of the worst teams in football. They've been pretty dismal, but I also don't like the philosophy of giving a coach one season then firing him.
yeah.
But if you saw that game, that guy's, I think it was Rich Gannon, right, or whatever his name is, something Gannon.
I can't remember his first name, but Gannon is his last name, and he was the
Yeah,
defensive coordinator for the Eagles last year.
his pregame speeches early in the season sucked. Like, I don't, man, I just don't think so. But that'd be the one team in that division. NFC North, it's obviously you're not firing the Lions coach. He's been
He's a coaching
awesome.
of the year candidate right now.
And Minnesota, with all their changes, he is low key, especially if they win the division, a low key shot. It sucks they're only 7-7, but with Flores is going to get a lot of that credit. But Kevin O'Connell, the way he's righted the ship with all the quarterback changes and Jefferson
Yeah.
being out, is impressive. Um, I'm going to throw a curveball at you. I think if the Packers lose to Carolina and drop 2 of their last 3, I think it might be time to think about LaFleur. Especially if he doesn't get rid of Barry. I'm dead serious. I'd consider it. He's not holding Barry accountable. He doesn't consistently have. It's just been such a wild ride in terms of game planning. Yes, you have a young team, but how wildly up and down they've been. If they were to go 7-10 and barely squeak by Carolina or lose to them and lose one of their last 2, and if Barry isn't fired immediately, I do think there's going to be pressure to fire him.
I think that's a very good chance of that. Just say I think Eberflus is going to get fired, but going
Oh
back to
yeah.
the Packers, that's one of the things you can also attribute the Pittsburgh Steelers to this is that when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback sitting there and playing for as long as they did, and y'all been blessed enough to have a Hall of Fame quarterback the last 30 years.
Oh
And
yeah. Oh yeah,
uh,
man.
but when you're making
Absolutely.
that switch from Hall of Fame to a guy that's starting his first year, there's going to be a learning curve for that kid the first year, even though he's
Mhm.
been there for this would be his fourth year in the NFL, the third year. I think it's going to be his fourth
Pickett?
year. I'm not 100. It's either his third or fourth,
I
but
think it's third.
his third. I
Let
mean,
me
he's
double check on that.
yeah,
Actually, that is a really wonderful question. Let's because we came super prepared for Pickett questions.
yeah.
Kenny Pickett? No, actually, it's only his second year, but I still don't know
Well,
if I
Kenny
see it.
Pickett, I know it was his second year, but Love, I was wondering if it was his third year.
Oh,
Oh, it's his fourth. Okay, so
but he
yeah.
sat for the first three, and it's his first year as a starter.
So what happened to him basically happened to Rodgers with Brett Favre.
Yeah,
Crazy.
it really did, and
So,
the way he left too. It
yeah,
was
same exact way. Went to the
yeah,
Jets.
it kind of was actually,
Went
which
to
is
the
kind of
Jets. First
funny.
cases.
It's kind of
Damn
funny
Jets.
how it worked out, isn't it? It's like
Yeah,
it was like the same thing over again, which is just nuts.
but
Like
but
I'm
Rodgers
really
struggled
surprised,
his first
honestly.
year too. So
Rodgers had good stats his first year. They didn't win a lot of games, but yeah, yeah, it was. I think they were either 6-10 or 7-9. I think they were 6-10 because it was 16 games then.
yeah.
He had good stats. They're actually really comparable to Love. The only thing I question with Love is a little bit of his accuracy and decision making and how
Mhm.
stagnant our offense looks at times. I put that on. See, the problem is I put it on the floor the questionable preparation and the way we come out on sometimes both sides of the ball, but especially one recently where one is just totally completely flat. Um, or we come out like gangbusters. It's just been nuts. So
Mhm.
I don't know. He's not like I'm not the most concerned about LaFleur, but if he can't figure out the coordinators, I frankly would like both out. If he can't figure out that, eventually that does fall on him because it's like that's your job is to manage the coordinators who manage the coaches, and you oversee all of that. That is literally your job title. So, um, let's look at the other divisions.
Yeah, I was gonna say
NFC East. I can't see Dable. We talked a lot of this
Babel. I
last
think
week.
it's safe.
Yeah, I think so too. I
I,
think Rivera's already. I think Rivera. Did we talk this? I think he's got
I think he's
in
gone.
his little office. If I were to draw a picture, he's got a desk. He's got
Yeah.
his phone, maybe still plugged in. I think the printer's already unplugged. The coffee maker, he's got to go to the lounge, and
Hmm.
there's nothing else there. He's already probably packed up.
And Eric
Like I'm
Benin's
surprised
name
they
is
haven't done it
already
already.
being stenciled onto the door.
um, if McCarthy blows it and they lose a wild card game, I think he's a candidate. Otherwise, I think he's safe if they win one playoff game.
I think with the way that they actually played this past year, they right as of right now he is safe. Now, if they have a late season collapse after what happened in Buffalo, because it does happen, then I think
Mm-hmm.
he definitely will get fired.
Yeah.
One and done in the playoffs, I could see it also because
Yep.
it's Dallas. Let's be real. When you go to Dallas, you're expected to win, regardless if your
Which is so
quarterback
dumb
is
because
Troy Aikman or
they're
Quincy
not
Carter.
about winning. They're
Yeah,
not about winning though. They haven't been
yeah.
about winning. Jerry hasn't been about winning. That's the sad thing. It seems like he wants winning and he's got talent, but he does crap like higher like as much as I like McCarthy, if he really wanted to win, there were other coaches that were better candidates, even though McCarthy has actually done a good job a lot of this season at home and some of the road games. McCarthy isn't the guy to take you to a Super Bowl. I watched it with Aaron Rodgers. We rode a great defense and an upstart running game. It was surprising because we sucked all year, but Starks had a good playoff run,
Hmm.
and Rodgers with some awesome weapons to a playoff win.
Yeah.
There's a reason we didn't have playoff success after that. Rodgers is culpable because he's laid some massive eggs. He's kind of like a Peyton Manning to me. As much as I like Rodgers, he fell way short in the playoffs multiple times, and not just that last San Fran game. He had multiple games
Yeah.
sub 250 after having an MVP season or like top 3
Regular
MVP
season
candidate
king
season.
and a playoff queen.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Yeah, I like that analogy. I think that's it for the NFC. Let's look at the AFC really quick, and then we'll do some game previews. Okay, Miami's safe, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, even if they were one and done. I gotta say, I still think Buffalo might be if they don't go anywhere in the playoffs. Even though they're starting to have a turnaround, the OC change has really given them life. Like unleashing James Cook has been one of the best fantasy things the last couple of games, but it's turned Buffalo's season around. I think it depends on how far they go in the playoffs, kind of like Dallas.
Yeah, I actually think McDermott saved his job.
He
Because
might have, but
and
if they miss the playoffs or they lose bad in the wild card, it could still
well,
be
if they
up in
get
the air.
slammed, yeah, possibly. But I think at this point, you look at what happened. One of the big things that the last few years with Buffalo is they had no running game, and now
And
they
look at
got
him
one.
now. Look at
Yeah,
him now.
they're a
Look at
complete
me now.
offense. Yeah,
Look at
exactly.
James
Here I
Cook.
am.
It's like boom. But they've got a D. If they can figure out how to win some close games, I got a question for you.
Yeah,
We've gone way off where I expected to go a few
yeah,
hours ago before Bill, but it's okay. This has been a lot of fun. I like deep diving on the NFL. I don't know how many people are going to listen for an hour and however long we go, but this is what I like to do. Do you? It's a complicated question,
yeah.
but Josh Allen, like where do you see him? Like, I hate just doing like rankings, but he kind of feels to me like a modern day Brett Favre, which is a high compliment, but there's also some slander in there.
Yeah.
Because Favre made a lot of mistakes.
Oh no,
I
far
think Allen's
teams in
capable
the
of
game.
winning a Super Bowl, but I also think he's going to hold you back from winning multiple.
I agree with that because Brett Favre, I think there was a big thing that was brought up early in the season about Josh Allen and his turnover to touchdown ratio. I mean, I think it's 1-1 pretty much, and he will be. He has the gunslinger mentality, but still at the same time, he's a top 5 quarterback in the NFL right now.
I agree. Um,
He's
why
going
do
to
you think
keep both teams in the game.
there's no question that them running the ball effectively is going to be good for Buffalo on multiple
Yeah,
formats because it's also going to limit his turnovers. Like
they
Diggs
just
is pissed, but they didn't even need to throw the ball to him. He was pissed, but they didn't even have to throw the ball. They
yeah.
didn't even have to test that secondary in that game
Mhm.
because they just slammed it down Dallas's throat. And if they can do that to Dallas, not that Dallas is the best rush defense in the league, but I'm going to pull up a stat on this. I'm pretty sure they're still. Hold on, let me just
Well,
raw rankings. I'll look at the ringer too, but Dallas still in EPA is ninth, man.
yeah.
Even after that
I
performance,
mean, they're
I
top
mean, that's
half,
pretty good.
so
That's
but
pretty
yeah,
good.
I mean, I can see
Oh, I'm
him
sorry, 12th. Rush defense,
well,
EPA, they're 12th.
still
They're
top half.
actually surprisingly, if you can believe it,
Yeah,
Dallas is actually ninth in EPA and rushing on
hmm,
offense. We talked them earlier. It's kind of surprising, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, well,
You wouldn't think that.
yeah.
It is a little surprising because I kind of wondered if they could run the ball effectively all season too.
They
They're
just need to
gonna.
have another weapon outside as far as passing goes outside of Diggs because he just relies on them too much. That's their
Oh,
biggest issue.
absolutely.
Mm,
Dallas is not okay. This is a better. This is more realistic. Dallas is 19th in rush D. So Buffalo
mhm,
hit their weakness because
yeah,
that is the weakest point of their entire roster. They're 12th in rushing offense right now. This is probably why I like going through the game previews because I read some stats and we have fun. Um, that's Dallas's weakest point is rushing the ball and rush defense. And Buffalo, if they can figure that out, they're going to be. I really think they're going to be a scary team.
right.
Like it just depends if they make it. They're still ninth in the AFC, but they win out. They're in. So we're
They
going to
got
see.
a pretty lax schedule left. They got they're at the Chargers, and then they have Patriots at home, and then they go see the Dolphins. So that's a
That
possibility.
Miami game is going to be huge because if Dallas was to show up and beat Miami, not that I actually don't think they're gonna, but if Miami slips on one of their other two games, Buffalo wins that game, they win the division. If
Okay.
they win their other two, because they smashed Buffalo smashed Miami 48-20 earlier this year. So, um, I know Dallas did have Hankins out for that game. People cry that, which I get, but still, the way they didn't show up was abysmal. Let's run through the rest of the teams really quick, and then we'll get into some game previews. Okay, Buffalo Yeah, we talked about that one. I think Salah's out for the Jets. Don't you think?
I want to say yes, but I don't think so because of what happened with Rodgers.
Yeah, that's the one thing. Okay, me and Fox Pete, who I really liked. It might be fun to cut it up with the two of you once. He
Yeah.
was good. Okay, from Foxborough, the only thing I disagreed with him on was he didn't like the idea of Bill leaving, which I get as a Patriots fan. I understand it. But the way they've looked, I think Kraft is going to look to move on.
No, they've looked like butt. And the reason why I say that is because, a lot of people are really pointing at Mac Jones right now and Zappy right now and saying that the passing game has been the issue. When you go out and get Juju Smith and Mike Gesicki from your rival, I mean, you're not really trying to help the kid out. You got Ramonde Stevenson, who is a good running back, but he's not someone that you sit there and you're sweating bullets the night before.
No, he's not. He's not Christian McCaffrey. If they had and honestly, Zeke at this point isn't scaring anybody either. So they've got
No,
he kept saying they have talent at the receiver. I'm like,
no,
who's the talented receiver?
they
I didn't
let
want
him
to be a
go.
jerk on air or anything, and I don't mean to be now, but I don't see the talent at receiver. I just don't. Like Devontae Parker's not scaring anybody. Smith Schuster's been playing on one leg. I
Mhm.
listen. Bill Simmons is a huge Patriots guy. I hear all about the Patriots, and I've watched enough highlights. Like they don't have anybody that scares at receiver. Hunter Henry is their best target at tight end when they use him effectively. And I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but as decent as he played against KC, Hunter Henry, if that's your best thing on offense, you got some problems. And Bill, the GM, has let him down, and Bill, the coach,
Well, I mean,
actually.
even when you were doing your show with Pete and everything, I typed in one of my like pointed questions, like this is why your team ain't really doing that great right now. Is
Yeah,
Bill
I saw it.
Belichick? He invests mostly his high round defensive picks or high round first round picks on defense, and that's if he hasn't got busted with a scandal.
Hmm.
You look at the fact that his 20, I think he's been there 24 years. In those 24 years, he's had four picks where he chose a specialty player or a player that gets the ball on a regular basis. You have Mac Jones, Benjamin Watson, Lawrence Maloney, and he became a Bear, but Neil.
Oh,
So I
that's a good
mean,
point. Yeah, it's true.
and you can't really expect to have much success like getting the ball down the field if you're not really going to do it. Yeah, you hit home runs with Gronk and Aaron Hernandez, but you also were very fortunate to have great trades with Corey Dillon before a fourth round pick, Randy Moss for a fourth round pick. You were able to cash in on these players that a lot of people thought were past their primes that really produced very well for you and got you those early Super Bowls. Now, he is a great coach, but that's kind of like one of the arguments that a lot of people had was who really helped who out as far as like who elevated the other one's careers between, and this is a different debate between
Oh,
Brady and
it's a good
Belichick.
debate though. It's a good
But
debate though.
in my opinion, Brady elevated Belichick a little bit more.
Yeah, I agree.
And
He had some special pieces on defense, but Brady was able to cover up for the deficiencies because a lot of times they didn't surround Brady. There was moments where they had Gronk and Moss, but when he had like Deion Branch, Brady elevated Branch enough when he was that great, and Belichick just took care of the defensive side of the ball and covered up for a lot of bad
yeah,
drafting, even in their dynasty
and
era.
and
Honestly, that's why there's a gap there too.
the players, a lot of the players that came, they came for Belichick, but a lot of your other players came because Brady was there. And you know, I know that we're running way over what you thought, but you look at, there were some hits that they got, like Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, who they
Oh yeah, they
traded
made
up
some good
for.
ones. They
I mean,
traded for Moss, Gronk, Hernandez didn't pan out obviously, but they landed some awesome offensive talent. He hasn't landed even other than June on anybody special on defense recently either.
mhm,
Gonzalez I like at corner, but they've even been missing on defense. Like
yeah.
that's when you know you got a problem. It's like
It's kind of
I think
like the
it's time.
game
I
is
think it's
passing
time,
by.
unfortunately. Yeah, it does feel that way. I'm curious if he went to another team, if maybe, but it is starting to feel that way, and it's sad because he's been there 24 years. but I don't think you can look this much like butt and then actually keep your job. Um, the AFC North is interesting because I can't see anyone losing their jobs. I actually am kind of impressed with Stefanski. I'm surprised I'm saying that. Um,
Very
I'm really
impressive.
impressed. I'm really impressed with Cincinnati's coach. His
Yeah.
name's eluding me right now, especially with losing Burrow. But Stefanski with having Flacco and all the quarterback crap they've had. Harbaugh in Baltimore's been great, and Tomlin's not getting canned unless even if they win 7-10, it's just not going to happen. But they need
Pittsburgh
to
don't
make some.
can their coaches.
No, they need to make some offensive changes though, and hopefully
They do.
Tomlin doesn't become like Belichick and let the game pass him by because he's got some special defensive talent, and he's got talent on offense if they can figure out the quarterback and frankly the O-line. Like, wow, it's been their offense has been one of the hardest to watch this year at times. It's been
Mm-hmm.
pretty sad for
Yeah.
real. Like, um, running through the rest of the AFC South, Peterson's obviously staying, but I'm a little disappointed with Jacksonville. But they're still 8-6.
I
Indy's
think.
coach Steichen, that's his name, right? He's got to be a
Yeah.
head coach of the year candidate, like
Yeah.
for real.
He killed it. And just the reverse a little quick, I think that Jacksonville is the softest division leading team right now. And then we'll
And
move
they're
on.
tied now. They've actually blown it so bad they're tied with
Yeah.
Houston. If Houston gets Stroud back, or if they mess around, Indy could easily take this.
Well, one of the things, like, because you
Christian
go,
Kirk has made such a difference.
you're on my group page too, and then what? There a few before I actually met you, I posted something that said, "Hey, because of the injuries to Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk, Kirk of course went on to the IR for a it's on the IR right now." I said, "Is there a possibility of Jacksonville blowing their chance to go to the playoffs?" And
There
it
is a
looks like,
possibility. What's their
uh,
schedule?
yeah,
Ooh.
no, it's
Let me
hard.
pull up the schedule.
It's a first place schedule.
Who do they play the rest of the way? Hold on,
And
I'm looking.
one of the things I said, a lot of people don't realize is that Trevor Lawrence, one of his best assets is he can scramble, and he has a high ankle sprain that he's nursing right now.
Yeah. They play
So,
Tampa. Oh, it's not bad. Their schedule's pretty easy. Jacksonville plays Tampa. Let me make sure I'm on Jacksonville. Yeah, they play Tampa, Carolina, and Tennessee the rest of the way.
with the way they're playing right now, I could see two
The way they're
losses.
playing, they could lose one or two of those,
I see
actually.
two losses. Maybe not against Carolina, but I could see them losing against Tampa Bay, and I could see them losing to Tennessee.
And going 9-8. That's just nuts. That's nuts. It's wow. Well, okay, so but I still even if they went 8-9 and blew all three,
Oh, he's straight.
that it would take that. I don't think Peterson's going. Steichen's safe. Houston's coach, another candidate if
Coach of
they
the
make
year.
the playoffs for coach of the year. He's been
Yeah.
awesome. D'Amico Ryans, and I actually think Vrabel's safe, even though they've been dismal. They've gone through quarterback change, and Vrabel they've sucked for most of the year. But I'd be surprised they let Vrabel go. I think people respect him enough, so I think he's safe.
I agree.
I like this deep dive on all teams because the coaches like just leads you to that. Well, the Chargers finally fired their coach and the Raiders, so that leaves Denver and how they've
Kansas
turned
City
their
and
season
Denver are
around.
safe.
There's no way. There's no way
No,
they're letting Peyton go. There's no way. And Andy Reid, even though the Chiefs have sucked, it's not his fault they didn't get a receiver. He's
that's a
done the
Hall of
best
Fame
he
coach.
can.
Yeah,
Huh?
that's a Hall of Fame coach. They're not going to
Yeah.
get rid of him.
Oh yeah, Andy Reid's awesome. I just don't believe in them because their receivers are so dismally
Yeah.
bad. I've lived the Valdez Scantling life. It's not a fun ride. It sucks. You don't want to ride that train. He shouldn't
No.
be starting on any team.
Well,
Period. He's probably flat 4.3 speed, and you still don't want him. Sorry. No.
and
No. No.
as far as like well, I almost said San Diego, Los Angeles, and Las Vegas are concerned, with Las Vegas, I would keep Antonio Pierce, give him at least
I
1
would
year
too.
because he's been doing so well. And with San Diego, because with San Diego, I still look at them as more an offensive team, especially with that talent they have on that side of the ball. Would you elevate Kellen Moore into that head coaching role, or
Well,
would
that was
you?
my thought that they brought him in for that reason.
Yeah,
I would think he would want that job even. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know there's talent with Herbert. I question Allen too, but obviously he's top five. He
yeah,
just is. He's going to make some stupid mistakes. That's going to just tick you off, though. I don't know if I see it with Herbert, but he has been just drowned by Staley. But to have a losing record with his weapons that he's had, I put a lot of blame on him. I really do.
On Herbert?
I don't see a top 5 talent. Yeah, he's got a lot of arm strength. He doesn't really move, and he's doesn't quarterback winning is not a quarterback stat. But when you've had that long with some of the weapons that he's had on offense, I just lose some respect. I don't know. What do you think?
I think Herbert
It's a
is.
deep question. It's a deeper question,
I think with Herbert, he is a top 5 quarterback, and I think a lot of microscope got thrown on him when he got the highest contract ever paid out to a player in NFL
Mm-hmm.
history. I think that
Oh
really
yeah.
weighs on it quite a bit. They've been dealing with a lot of drama as far as like Austin Eckler, like very vocally saying, "I'm ready to leave. I'm ready to get out of here." You know,
Oh yeah.
as far as the team goes, I think it's not their offense that's really been the problem. It's been their defense. I mean, they can't stop a Pop Warner team at this point, and they got as many stars as they have. I mean, you got Khalil Mack, you got Bosa, you got Duran James, you got Asante Samuel, you got all these stars on defense, but
I
you
don't know
can't.
how they're so bad. It's
Teams are running through them
crazy.
like crap through a goose. I mean, it's just unreal what is going on. I mean, their
Yeah.
defensive rank is 28, and I didn't just mention scrubs. They
No.
they have legit stars on that defense, and they just have been really just like diarrhea all over the place. I mean, it's just unreal right now. I mean, their offense hasn't been really performing as great as it should be either. They're 17th. I mean, overall, and you can't keep a coach like Brandon Staley if he's not going to lead your team to victories. That's the whole point of coach. It just felt like they weren't really prepared for some of these games, and they've just been getting curb stomped the last few weeks. I mean, they're
Oh
at
yeah.
5-8. They're probably the most talented 5-8 team there has ever been.
And they're
And
actually in one of the worst positions now because like what do you do with the coach and with the problems on
5-9,
D?
sorry.
It seems like an attractive job, but I'm not sure if it actually is. Because if I'm right about Herbert, they've got a bigger problem. So it's going to be. I'm just not sure about the guy. I'm actually not. He hasn't. He's not elevated that offense. Although you could put some of that on Staley, but with Kellen Moore, they should have been way better on offense this season.
Well,
Now they missed Eckler for a minute. When they lost Mike Williams, it's kind of like Jacksonville. The Christian Kirk effect on Jacksonville has been drastic. They haven't been the same, but the
at the,
Chargers losing Mike Williams, that's changed their team too.
oh yeah, no, that would hurt
Same
anyone.
thing as last year.
Yeah,
But he's so injury prone at this point, you got to expect it.
yeah, he's Kellen Moore, Keenan Allen 2.0. Because Keenan Allen, we literally saw a graph one time, and my buddy Seth, my co-host, literally said, and it was 6 injuries all on the left leg. Like, how are you still walking, bro? How are you still able to actually go? But
Exactly.
at the same time, we kind of just mentioned Kellen Moore get elevated up into that head coaching job. They said the same thing about him when he was kicked out of Dallas, that he wasn't really elevating the offense all that well, and that's why Mike McCarthy fired him. They picked him up over in Los Angeles, and maybe that's the key case too. Would they keep
That's a good
Kellen Moore?
point.
So,
That's a good point. Viewers, I want to know what you guys think. I'm
yeah,
curious. Okay,
that would be cool.
I'm gonna save some time at the end of the show. I'm just gonna be frank. I'm starting to get hungry. They made chicken dumplings, so I
Ooh,
do want to run through the picks, and then if we have time, we'll add some comments that I've been seeing on Facebook.
okay,
Um, it's gonna be highly Packer oriented, only because I've been making comments in Packer groups.
that's fine.
I didn't do the NFL one. I thought about doing in the Cowboy one, but I didn't want to hurt their feelings too bad.
Yeah,
I almost did. I should have clowned so bad. I missed an opportunity there. I really should have. But
and if you
I
want
was
to talk
trying to.
about how bad the Chicago Bears suck, look, I'm game. I'm in construction and a Chicago Bears fan. What have I not heard?
Oof. Oh man, that hurts. That sucks. That's gotta suck. Okay, let's get to our picks now. We're at almost an hour and a half. Let's do our pick 'em. Chris, if you're here, I hope you like our picks. I know you're busy doing some other stuff. We got one person watching right now. Okay. Maybe Bill joins too. I don't know what he's up to. Okay. What is your game of the week, sir?
I think it's pretty much everyone's game of the week, which is San Francisco against Baltimore. And the
Oh,
reason why,
it's not Arizona, Chicago?
oh man, it could be, but it's not. No,
Yeah, it's got to be Baltimore San Fran, and it's on Christmas Day, which is going to be
a good
awesome.
Christmas present. My mom's coming down for a little bit, and we might watch this game together. But this game is so hyped right now. You got two 11-3 teams in Baltimore and San Francisco. You
The
got
one seeds.
yeah, both one seeds. You got three MVP candidates that are about to clash in Lamar Jackson and Purdy and McCaffrey. I mean, this is a game that has it all, and I wouldn't say that San Francisco has not faced a quarterback Lamar Jackson, but they have, and Jalen Hurts and Dak Prescott. And when you look at this game, one of the stats that I pulled up, and I call these no cap stats,
Ooh, I like it. No cap stats.
Larry
Okay.
Lamar Jackson has, right now he's number 2 as far as the candidates go, but right now he has. I'm trying to find up my notes. Sorry.
You're
He
good, man.
has 22 total touchdowns to 7 interceptions, but he has fumbled, and this is the no cap stat, 11 times. That's big, especially against a defense that is as loaded as San Francisco right now. You're talking about Fred Warner, Greenlaw, those guys. They know how to strip the ball. And if Lamar Jackson, he's not doing as many designed runs as he used to, but also keep an eye on Zay Flowers. He's kind of exploded on the scene as a rookie, and Gus Edwards has done an exceptional job filling in as their main running back right now. He's been doing really well this year.
Especially with Mitchell hurt. That's going to be
Yeah.
interesting because Kenyon Mitchell went out the other game. The surprising thing when I was looking at everything,
So
it
he's
must
the
have
one
went
that I
up.
saw whose leg was bending like that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. He's done. He's toast. He's
Yeah,
probably
no.
out for the season. I didn't actually get to see if he's out for the season. I was running all day today, so I didn't get to watch. But the line is 5.5, and I thought it might be higher, but it's gone up on this game. You got this is like Dallas Philly or Dallas Buffalo, but even better. Baltimore's 4th in offense and points. San Fran is surprisingly only 3rd.
Yeah.
Miami, I think, is 1st, and then Dallas,
Top
stupidly, because
5
they
both offense and
Dallas
defense.
stat pads though. Dallas stat pads, so I hate that crap. They go put out 45 against crap teams. Congratulations. Sorry, Cowboys fans, you guys suck. Cowboys fans suck too. I'm so tired of them. Anyways, off my Cowboys. I could just go all day. I'm trying not to be Stephen A. Smith. San Fran's 2nd in yardage. Your breakdown was awesome too. Baltimore is 4th.
Yeah.
I could go through all the stats though, and I just think I'm going to be surprised if Baltimore wins. I think San Fran's going to shellac them.
Oh, no.
I really do.
San Fran's going to take it. But, one of the things like you were kind of alluding to is that both teams have top 5 offenses and defenses on both teams. So
San Fran's only 9th in yards, surprisingly, but they've been climbing.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, it's that elite matchup. But I got to ask you, do you think Baltimore has a chance? Because I don't see it.
No.
I just don't. I think
I want to say
this is where Lamar Jackson gets exposed. I think it is. Like Lamar Jackson, I've worried for. This is the type of game I worry about for him. It's not a Dak thing. It's completely different. With him, I question his ability to consistently throw the ball against an elite team. And I'm sorry, it's the Justin Fields thing too. Justin Fields against a good defense, exposed. He just does. And I don't want to be a Packer fan. I'm sorry, because I'm not
you're
super on love. Fan. It's just the truth. Fields struggles against good defenses, but so does Lamar Jackson. And in the playoffs, he's struggled. And it is ripe this season. It's like Detroit's opportunity. The opportunity is right there for Baltimore. The only team that I'm really scared of them running into in the playoffs, if they're playing the way they, not just against Dallas, is Buffalo. I'm not afraid of Miami.
No. And we will talk about them too.
We're going to get to that game. That Dallas-Miami game, I think, is probably, it's mine at least, because we're going to trade on picks. Yeah, man, we could break this one down for an hour. I just think San Fran's on another level. And I think it might come down to Lamar Jackson fumbling or throwing a pick. That's going to be the difference against an opportunistic San Fran D, who surprisingly is only middle of the pack against the pass in just straight yardage. They're 15th, which was a little surprising. But Baltimore's D, as good as they are, there's cracks. They're awesome. But I think San Fran's going to just run it down their throat.
No. And me personally, I don't think it's going to come down to a Lamar Jackson pick or fumble like it does with most Chicago games with Justin Fields. I think it's just gonna. I think it's gonna be at least 10 points hung up above what Baltimore would score. So I think, as far as the spread's concerned,
Me
I
too.
think you're safe.
I think that if it was a 10-point line, which would be nuts, I would still bet it on San Fran because I think they're going to cover the 5.5 easily. I could be wrong.
Mhm.
Maybe Baltimore keeps it close, but I think San Fran wins by like 13.
Yeah, no, San Fran's got some thumpers on both sides of the ball, and I
They're
mean,
they're
it's
just that good.
they're just yeah. And depending on how well they do their salary cap and everything, this could be the team that you could see the '80s all over again. Let's
If
just
they're
be real.
smart.
If
And
they're
the really
smart.
cool thing for them is Purdy's on such a low deal for another 2 seasons if
Two
they can make
seasons.
him wait. And it's a 7th round pick. He's only making $1 million. So it's not even like they spent a 1st round pick and it's like 9 or 10 mil, a high first rounder. It's only like 1.09 million or something low. I remember seeing, so it's like barely over $1 million. Now it'll go up as last year because every rookie contract is structured that way, but it's not going to go up much, and there's no incentives in there that I know of. I have to double look at his contract, but they scored, and yeah, they're paying McCaffrey. I don't know what contracts they have coming up. That would be in the offseason. We'll have to do that.
And another
Breakdown on them.
question, because you just brought up a good point, and this is also for the viewers. You can actually approach me on Shots from the Sidelines or Isaac with Fun Football Podcast. Is a lot of
Good,
people
good
really
plug. I like it.
you like that? Uh,
Yeah.
a lot of people put an emphasis on paying the quarterback these high dollar contracts and everything. Do you really think it actually helps them? Because
No.
me personally, I think it actually hurts the team because you can't get more talent around them.
Look at the Jalen Hurts effect in Philly. You're already
Yeah,
seeing it. You're about to see it in Buffalo. You're going to see, you're already, well, Dallas has done a good job drafting some guys, but you're going to
yeah.
see it there as well. So unfortunately, like you're already seeing it in Philly. They're struggling to surround talent.
I see it in
KC
Kansas
is
City.
another,
I was
KC
gonna
is
say,
another example. They can't get a receiver or willing to pay a receiver because of it.
yeah.
So
And that was one of the draws for Brady is he could get these elite receivers to come in and like I wouldn't say elite, but he made them elite, but he could get someone to come in and take a less dollar amount. He actually took pay cuts so they could get better players in. So
yeah,
the Brady effect, I guess,
I
is the
honestly
way to
think
put it.
if you can get it's the Brady thing is a really good example. If you
Yeah,
can get your quarterback to have a lower deal, that is very
that's your thing.
smart because if it's a team friendly deal, and 40 million is not team friendly, I'm sorry. It's just not. 40 million is too much.
No,
If you can get your quarterback at a really team friendly deal like 25 to 30 and just pitch more incentives but pitch championships, there you go. But the problem is most quarterbacks aren't going to go for it. So if San Fran can be smart, load up some other contracts, you're right, man. This could be the 80s, especially
yeah,
with McCaffrey only being like 27. If they
yeah,
could they might be on a serious roll here.
no.
So, all right. So we're both picking, obviously, San Fran. I don't do score predictions with Bill. Um, we, we could touch on
If you
that,
want
but
to try it,
I would say I think they're going to shellac them. I think it's going to be 33-17. Actually, I think they're going to win by 16.
I was thinking 31-17 was the first
Yeah,
number I came in
14.
mind. And
Yes.
like you said about the $40 million deal, Giants fan, how's that feel? I mean,
No, you already want to cut him. You want him out. The Packers actually want to, like, I'm seeing stuff online. They want to pay Love year by year. I'm like, that doesn't work that way, dude. Sorry, if he's getting close to 30 TDs, and even in this pass happy NFL, you can't just keep asking him to take one
no,
of your deals. It's not going to happen. Sorry, you're going to alienate him, and he's going to want out. So
I don't blame him.
my game of the week, I gotta go Dallas Miami. What do you think the spread is on it without looking? The
I'm on.
Miami.
I want to say that Miami is probably favored. Am I
Oh
right
yeah,
so far?
correct.
And is it going to be 6 points? 6.5?
One. I was shocked. 1.5
1.5?
for
Mm.
Miami. But here's the question: is Tyreek playing? Let's look.
No, he's
Now
still
Yahoo
not confirmed.
sucks at injuries.
He's
Questionable.
still questionable. I
That
think Dallas
sucks.
is going to take this. I mean, I know you're not really the look on your face when you did that. And here's why. I think Dallas is going to bounce back from this Buffalo game. Miami, we and you've already talked about, they have played nobody. I think they have a losing record against anyone that has a winning record. I think they beat Denver. That's
Philly,
it.
Philly,
Oh,
Dallas beat Philly. Has Miami beaten anybody with a winning record?
Denver.
Yeah.
That's it. That's it. And that's when
Was
they
it even
put
in there? And
70
they're
on.
7-7. So that's what's sad.
Yeah.
For all the new people popped in, I see 3. Welcome. We're on our picks part. We are on the second game of the week. So Denver's the only team that with a non-losing record that they've beaten. Honestly, I made the comparisons all year. I feel like Miami's complete frauds. And now without Tyreek, you know what? Even though Dallas has that dismal road record, I'm going to go with you. I'm going to pick Dallas. I
No,
think that I think that Miami is so reliant on Tyreek Hill that they are gonna they're not they're I just don't see it. I don't. Like I think if Tyreek's not 100%, it really exposes their offense. How did they do last week? They just shellacked the Jets, right?
yeah,
But
they
it's
beat
the
them 30
Jets.
nothing. But it's the Jets
Yeah,
with
but it's the
Zach.
Jets. But it's the Jets. Like I'm
It's Zach
sorry. Like
Wilson.
I don't take them seriously at all. They don't take themselves seriously. So
The only
you
time
know,
I'd be worried about the Jets if my mom was at the game and Zach Wilson was starting. That's about it. So
yeah, because he's gonna take your mom home.
yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
Miami is first in points. Dallas is second. Dallas is after that stupid game, they're down to fifth on defense in points. Miami is 14th. In yards, though, you're looking at it's just like the other matchup. It's 2 top 10s on both sides. Dallas is sixth on offense. Miami is first. But I feel like this is a very good example of 2 teams that stat pad against bad teams, and then against good defenses, neither of them look special. And
and and
I
you're
honestly don't believe in either team in the playoffs. I think best case scenario for both teams, they win a game. Maybe Dallas goes to the conference championship and San Fran just makes them cry again because that's what's going to happen if they play them again.
and you kind of nailed it. I mean, like every game that they played, I mean, they barely beat the Chargers. Of course, we talked about the Broncos being the one team that they beat that has a winning record, but they pretty much feasted on teams that suck. The
Yeah,
Panthers they beat
very similar.
42-21. Commanders 45-15. They played the Jets twice. So whenever you look at those yards and that how much points they score per game, you're looking at that. And as
Yep.
far as the other games, they didn't exactly get walked by the Chiefs, but they lost 21-14. Whenever they actually play again, and of course they lost to the Titans a couple weeks ago. So
That was sad. I'm sorry. That was really disappointing. The way they fell apart at the end, it's just like, come on, man. Like
mhm,
get it together. No, honestly, the one thing that gives me pause is Dallas on the road. They are 3-4, and I don't believe in them either. I'm
yeah,
looking at just overall Miami. The problem is Dallas's run D is 19th, and Miami is first, and they have Mostert. That is the one way I could see Miami attacking Dallas effectively. And I think Hankins is out. He was out last week. He
mhm,
might be out again. That's their defensive
that's huge.
tackle. That does
Yeah,
kind of scare me. And Hooker, their safety, is questionable. And
mhm.
Zach Martin now, he got banged up in that Buffalo game to add insult to the injury, and how bad they played. That also
Well, they don't run the
gives me a
ball that
little
much
bit of
either.
pause on Dallas.
Yeah.
But Miami's got Xavier Howard questionable, starting corner. Tyreek Hill's questionable. Obviously, we all know who he is.
Well, they still got
And
Jalen Waddle, who is more than capable of filling in that number one spot. So
yeah, it doesn't transform the team like Hill
no, no,
with his speed. But you're right, Waddle's there's a reason why they're one of the best receiver pairs in the league. It just I think Hill helps make Waddle even more dynamic, honestly.
yeah,
But Monster's he's at 966 yards on the year. I've got him in fantasy. He's about to crack 1,000. That would be the way they attack Dallas effectively. If there's a path to them winning, I think that's their easiest, road travel. I would think.
just crush it. Yeah, just crush it down the middle.
What's your? Do you have any other games of the week? There's a couple other fun ones. Oh,
I'm
score
looking
prediction.
right
Sorry,
now.
score prediction. Dallas. I'm gonna say Dallas wins, or not Buffalo. I wrote down last week. What am I doing? I'm gonna
I
go
think it's
Dallas
going to
wins
be a.
that one. I think it's gonna be a close one. I think they win like 34-27.
I was going to go with 34, 31. I think it's going to be a really
Ooh,
close game.
I
I
think
think
they're
it's
gonna.
going to be high scoring.
Yeah,
Yeah. I don't know what the
I,
over under is on it, but yeah. Oh, and there.
Ramsey being back does scare me with the whole CD Lamb thing, but at least they've got Ferguson and if Pollard finally has a good game. It just sucks for Pollard because now you can kind of tell he was better as a complementary explosive
Yeah.
back last year, and he was effective in that role when he was
Mm-hmm. It
coming
changes
in and hitting
pace.
the team. He was coming in and hitting the defense when they were already softened by Zeke a lot of the
Right.
time, and that's where he's better. So I almost wish they would keep him and draft a running back. I think that would be the best case scenario for them. While I like Dowdle, he's not. I don't think he's what they need.
Well, also, if you want to go see a game with Dallas at Miami, you can get a ticket for as low as $247.
Well, there you go. That's
Yeah.
actually not bad. Surprisingly, it's actually not bad price for 2-10-4 teams, both definitely making the
True.
playoffs. It's actually kind of surprising.
All right.
Um,
You had
there
one more
was,
game that you were
there was,
talking about.
there was. I'm looking really quick.
Detroit and
There's,
Minnesota was one.
yeah, the only other one is that stupid sad one, and I don't think it's going to make my list of contenders of game of the week was Jacksonville Tampa, but I don't want to talk that one yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's talk this Detroit Minnesota game. What are you thinking?
What's the spread right now?
The spread is Yahoo's not giving it to me. What? Oh, there we go. Detroit's favored by 3 in Minnesota. Interesting.
So we talked about the defense that is Minnesota, how much it's improved and everything like that. Nate Mullins is that backup quarterback that can really spurge sometimes, and with a receiving tandem of Addison and Jefferson, they could actually keep this game close. But also at the same time, which golf are we going to get? Are we going to get the one that collapses like a cheap chair in the yard, or do we get the one that showed out last week where he got 275 yards and 5 touchdowns? Now, granted, 3 of those touchdowns went to rookie superstar tight end Laporta. Dude has just
Ooh,
been balling out the whole year,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he's put that offense at a different level. If they did not have him right now, I'll be honest, I don't think they'd be having the success they had. That's even with St. Brown, that's with Gibbs, that's with Montgomery. Uh, he's just opened it up so much. 3 points, I could actually see Detroit taking that one.
The funny thing is Minnesota's actually weak at home. They're
Mm-hmm.
2-4, and that actually was a stat that just scared me. And I think I'm actually going to go with you and go Detroit. I'm a little worried about Minnesota's D. They almost pulled out that game against Cincinnati with that awesome T. Hagen sketch we didn't get into. And I'm super
Yeah,
impressed with
that was
Brownie.
Luke
He took it
Brown.
personally. Browning took it personally that they cut him. And you could tell it was the difference. He showed up. And it was just enough with Higgins. I love the guy. He's an awesome receiver. Um, I do think Detroit is going to continue to be on roll, but I think it's going to matter what Goff does. Minnesota's D has been tough, and they do have Jefferson and Addison coming back, but I'm looking at the injuries really quick.
And even though
Jefferson's back.
yeah,
Madison's out, but Chandler looked great for them
I was
last week.
gonna
So this
say
is
Ty
gonna
Chandler looked good too.
this is gonna be interesting. Detroit looks pretty healthy. Um, I think they roll. I do. I think they're a good team on the road. I think they're going to take this one seriously after that Denver game. They needed that. It might
Mhm.
get them back on track for a minute. I'm going to go Detroit with you. I'm going to say I think they win it pretty handily too.
Yeah.
I'm going to give the 3 points. I'm going to say I think they win by 10. We'll go um 27-17.
I don't think they're going to win it by that much. I think that, when you look at the 3 points and everything, I think that they're going to eke this one out because if there is a game that I think Detroit will lose, it will be this one. But I think they're going to win straight up, not really taking the spread. I would say probably 23-21.
Sounds good. Okay, now something I like to do with Bill. Let's roll through some easy one, the locks, and then we'll debate the rest, okay?
It's a good
All
bet.
right, one of my locks for the week. Well, actually, why don't you take one? You got any locks that you think are absolutely going to happen? It's
I
actually a tough week, actually.
Well, I would if Ritter was still the because Tyler Henke is now the starting quarterback in Atlanta for this game. I would have probably went with Indianapolis as a lock over Atlanta. Right.
Even with Ritter's record at home, huh?
Yeah. I'm
I don't
actually
blame
going
you,
to
dude. I don't
say,
blame you.
well, one lock that we already kind of talked about was San Francisco. The Las Vegas Kansas City game will be a good close one. I see Denver beating New England. That would be my lock.
Oh, that's a good one. I hadn't even thought of that one. I'll go with you on that. I think Denver is going to be mad after that loss, and I think New England, as decent as they are on defense, I think that they're one of the worst teams in the league, and I just don't see it
Mhm.
consistently. So I'm going to go with you on that one. So we'll go Denver. Okay. I think they win it by, I don't even know a score. I think they're going to win it pretty handily. Let's see. What's the odd on that one? Denver is favored
And it's at my high.
by 6.5, and I think they take it by
They could take
10,
about 10. Yeah.
10 to 14. I think they win by 10 to 14 points. My lock for the week, and that, why we call it a lock is it's just one I kind of skip. My lock for the week, and there might be a couple more. I do think KC is going to roll Las Vegas
Sorry,
in
Joe.
KC. Sorry, man. I just think they do. You agree with that on that one? They're
I think
10-point
Kansas City's
favorites in
going to take that
KC.
one.
I'm not a massive, KC fan this year. Their
No.
receivers are struggling, but I do think
Another lock I would say would
I
be,
do think they figured it out.
yeah,
I think they figured it out.
I
The
think
10
they're
point
safe
favorites,
on
I
that.
think they might even cover. As
Yeah.
much as I like Pierce, I just don't believe in them. Okay, so that was mine. You got another one?
Los Angeles Rams over the New Orleans Saints.
Ooh, both 2-7-7 teams. But I don't believe in the Saints either. Let me get their road record really quick. Hold on. Let me look at that one. The Saints on the road are only 3-4, and the Rams at home are only 4-3. But I really like the way the Rams are playing. I don't know if I would have considered it a lock, but I could absolutely see it, and I was going to pick the Rams. I like the way they're playing with Kyron Williams. They're
Yeah.
coming together. Olave's still questionable. They've
So
got
that
some
means that
injuries.
Kamara is pretty much the only weapon they have other
Donald
than
is
Derek Carr.
questionable. Donald is questionable.
Really? He'll
But it
play.
was rest. It was rest. He'll play. Tutu Atwell, concussion, that hurts a little. He's their number 2.
Yeah.
Well, no, they've got Cup. He's their 3. They got Nakua and Cup. I like Kyron Williams.
Mhm.
I actually agree. I think the Rams are better. I think they win this game. I'm gonna go Rams. Okay, New
Been
Orleans.
good old.
I think they win by like 10. I don't believe in the Rams or the Saints. I think the Rams are actually a sneaky tough team in the NFC. They proved it against Baltimore. They almost beat them. I think
Mhm.
they need this win too to make the playoffs. Okay, I got one. Locks. We're still on locks.
Yep.
I know it probably shouldn't be a lock, but I think Philly rebounds against the Giants. I think they're going to be ticked.
I think you're right.
It's in Philly. I think they're going to respond. They're 11.5 point favorites, and I think they're going to respond with some authority and try to remind people that they're a good team, even though they actually might not be. Their DVOA and their defensively, they're just not as good as this year. But I think that they're going to be ticked off at home, and they're going to. It's 11.5. I think they might even cover it. I like DeVito. Maybe the Giants find a way to muck it up and keep it close, but I think Philly, if they have anything, they're going to show up hard for this game.
I agree with
Might
you
be
on
like a
that one.
20. It might be like a 21-point win.
No, I can see that.
I don't know if I have any other ones. Do you have any other locks?
Mm,
I'm looking. Not Cincy Pittsburgh. It's too close.
oh, Buffalo against
Oh
the Chargers.
yeah, I just saw it. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo. Buffalo's favored by. It's in LA, which is weird to say. It's like Washington with the Commanders.
Yeah.
They're favored by 12 on the road. Yeah, I'm gonna go Buffalo.
Yeah.
We better get these locks this week, man. Bill's gonna be ticked when I talk to him. Let's go Buffalo.
All right.
Okay.
No, I agree with Buffalo.
Let me run through the rest. We're actually halfway done with the picks already. Let's just see if there's any other ones we feel pretty good about. Green Bay at Carolina. We're gonna have to talk that one in a minute. I don't know, man. The way they're playing. Green Bay is favored by 4.5 on the road. Bill, I think, was going to try to talk me into Carolina.
Really?
Yeah,
Now,
he
when
doesn't
y'all
want to
do
pick Green
y'all
Bay.
picks, do you do it with a spread or no?
No, it's just straight up.
Okay.
Here's my question, okay?
Yeah.
Green Bay, if the right Green Bay team shows up, it's a question like it's kind of like Goff now. which Green Bay is going to show up because they've had some wild highs, a few of them, and some really bad lows. And Carolina did just find a way to beat Atlanta. So Green Bay is probably, unfortunately, around the same level as Atlanta. So they're fully capable of winning this stupid game. But I just can't, with my right sense, I don't know if I'm calling it a lock, but I just can't, with my right sense, pick Carolina in a game. I can't do it. I just can't. Like, I
No,
think Green Bay,
I
Carolina
think
doesn't
Green
have the
Bay.
weapons to expose us, and I think Love will make enough plays with the receivers that he has and Jones back to win the game.
I think Green Bay has a better offense than Atlanta, and
They,
Carolina,
for
when they
sure.
first came into this season, they said that they had a better defense, and it just hasn't shown.
No,
So
29th.
yeah,
They're surprisingly Carolina's third in yards. Can you believe that?
well they
Oh
get
my gosh.
because their
They're
defense.
29th in points and third in yards. Am
So
I looking at the right
Carolina
team?
is
Am I
third
looking at the
in
right
yards
team?
against.
Yeah, Carolina's third in total yards defensively, third in passing, 20th in rushing, but 29th in points. How is that possible?
Turnovers.
Yeah, the offense, which I think could happen today or
Yeah,
on whenever they play. I'm still going Green Bay. I just don't
I'll
see
go
it.
Green Bay on that one. If I you.
I'm looking through the rest really quick. Don't know what's going to happen with Houston's quarterback. That matters. Um,
If
we picked
Stroud is in,
we picked Denver, so I'm going to go backwards. We took San Fran, we took Philly, we took the Chiefs, we took
yep,
Denver, we took Dallas, right?
yep.
Yep. Arizona, Chicago,
Mm.
crap fest.
It is a
I think
cold
Chicago.
game.
I honestly think Chicago takes that game. It's in
I agree with
Chicago.
it,
I don't
and
see Arizona.
I agree with it because Arizona's defense ain't that great, and I think that the Bears defense has improved steadily over the last 3 weeks. That's just not me talking as a Bears fan, but Kyler Murray is one of those quarterbacks that I've looked at with kind of like a raised eyebrow. Like, is he going to be able to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to be not able to do it? And
Yeah.
I mean, he's come back and he's helped them win a game, but that's exactly it. It's a game.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think Chicago's going to take that one.
Oh my gosh. I think Bill's here.
What's up, Bill?
Hold on. Bill, are you here? It says no video. Hold on. Let me try to get him in. Dang it. You might have been right on the two-person thing. Hold on. I'm trying to get him in. It says no camera. He's here. Hold on. How do I add him to the stage? Dang it. I have to. I don't think it actually lets me have three people.
You mean
Go
drop
Bears,
the off?
go. No, it just. Hold on. Participants.
Did I hear a Go Bears go?
I
That's what I'm talking
love
about, Bill.
it.
Bear
Bill,
down,
if you
baby.
want to join, let me know. I'll try to get you on the stage, okay? Type it in or something or text me. I'm happy you're watching. We're making our picks, and if you're up for it later in the week, if you're feeling up for it, we'll do our pick'em show. We'll just pick 'em. Um, it's not letting me. I think you might have been right on the two participants thing because
Yeah,
it's not letting me. No, it's not letting me get them in. Hold on.
yeah. It sounds
Private
like I'll
chat.
be spending $20
I
a month.
hear you, but no audio. Cool. Sure, no options.
I'll just
Super
turn it on
weird.
to chat so that way I can tell you what Bill says.
Okay, cool. That sounds good. No worries, Bill. We're almost done. We're at the end of the. We're near the end of our picks.
I hope you feel better, by the way, Bill.
Yeah, I hope you feel better. We're gonna. If you're feeling up for it, the wife's sick. We'll do our pick'em episode. Okay, me and you. We got to talk about how crappy we did, and me
Hmm.
and me and Med, who's awesome. We're running through them. No problem. Thanks, man. Sorry, Bill. I'm sorry we went 9-7 too. It sucked. Um, I'm gonna call you right. I'm gonna eat because I'm starving. But we're gonna.
That's just all.
Plus, it's because I worked out. That's my problem. I worked out. Now I'm hungry. And my appetite's stirring. It's
Got you,
killing me.
man.
Okay. So we're thinking Bears. I don't believe in Kyler Murray either, but I would love to see him with Marvin Harrison Jr. That'd be fun. But I just Murray's yeah. Marquise Brown's questionable too. The Bears
Yeah,
don't have any
Bills and
significant
Bears.
injuries other than Sewell, and I, not that they're significantly better, but they've definitely been playing better. What are you thinking, Bill? Bears?
You
All
went
right,
Bears.
Bill. Hey, I'm going to read my picks to you since you just hopped in. Tell me what you think, okay? Bill, and it's on Facebook right now. I'm going to go back to the thing if you were typing. Bill, tell me what you think of our picks. We took 49ers over the Ravens. San Fran or Baltimore, Bill? What do you think? Dallas, Miami. We took Dallas, even though it's on the road. We don't believe in Miami.
You went with
Okay.
Niners.
Okay. We took Dallas over Miami so far. We're going to talk on our picks. We did take Detroit even on the road. Minnesota's got a 2-4 home record. We took Detroit. So far we got San Fran, Dallas, and Detroit. Tell me what you think, okay? Sorry that you weren't here, man. I miss it. Hold on. What did he say?
I'll tell you, Cowgirls.
Okay, what did he say in Detroit?
He hasn't
I'm
said
curious.
anything on Detroit
Detroit, Minnesota. We took Detroit, man. We've got a few left, and then that's going to be it.
yet. He went with the Lions.
Okay. With New England, Denver, we took Denver. And Vegas, KC, we took KC. We went through our locks and the games of the week first. So Denver, KC, Bill.
He went with Broncos. He hasn't got
Okay.
the KC Raiders yet.
Okay. I
KC.
still don't know. I still don't know why it's not letting him in. I think you're right. I think I can only have one person on. That's stupid. That sucks. I think StreamYard does limit you. It says 6 on screen, but it's not even giving me an option to bring him in, which stinks.
He said
I
no
feel bad.
worries.
It's stupid. It's StreamYard free. I'm trying to be cheap. Okay, Casey. Okay, we took the Rams, Bill, and the Eagles.
He said he could practice his typing skills.
So we took the Rams over the Saints, and we took the Eagles over the Giants. We think Philly rebounds. What do you think, Bill?
You good with both of those?
Yeah.
Eagles?
I'm still gonna call you, and if you're down, we're still doing our show. I'm not cutting you out, man. Hold on.
And Rams. So
Eagles, Rams. Practice my typing skills. I love that. Okay, then we took. You're gonna hate me, Bill. Not on this one. We took Buffalo. We think they dominate the Chargers. Curious what you think on that one.
Yep. Bill's
Dude, I'm sorry.
Bill.
I couldn't with my right mind take Carolina as bad as Green Bay looks. We did go Green Bay.
Go Pack. Go.
It's freaking Carolina. Okay, thank you. We took the Bears, Bill, over, and then you can hear the rest of them. We're going to finish them right now. We took the Bears over the Cardinals. What do you think?
Yep, he went with the Pack and he went with the Bears.
I like it. Okay, let's finish them up. All right, Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. Oh. I think Cincinnati pulls that out with Browning. What do you think?
I agree because they are starting Mason Rudolph.
Oh, yeah, no thanks. No thanks. You win that game, good for you. I'm going Cincy. That one's pretty easy. Browning's actually been pretty good. He's starting to, if he continues this for a few more weeks, he might earn himself some a starting gig next year. Good backup money. Bill, you agree? He's in the private
with
chat.
Bengals.
Nice. Okay, Buffalo, we got that one. Indy, Atlanta. I'm rolling Indy.
This is a tricky one.
This is hard.
Like I said, Hinkie is going to be starting, and he adds a different dimension to it. But Gunnar Minshew has just been amazing. Indianapolis for me.
Yeah,
he hates the Falcons or Colts. Damn both.
Wait, what did he say?
He said he hates them both. Are you going to roll the dice on this one, Bill?
Should we roll, Bill? Should we roll? Can you roll?
He's rolling the dice. He hit with a yes.
Okay. Hey, let's roll. I'm gonna go even for the Colts because I think they're gonna win. What'd you get, Bill? This is fun having him in the background at least. I'm happy he's here. Then I said, what I say, odd?
You said even.
Okay, so we're going Indy. All right, Indy it is, Bill. Good. We had to roll on one. All right, let's go. I just think Indy's a better team. Their offense is so much better. But it's flipped. Indy's 8th in points. Atlanta's, it's almost a complete reversal. Indy's 8th in points. Atlanta's 26th on defense and offense in points. But on defense, Atlanta's 8th in points and Indy's 27th. So it's like a reversal. I just don't like it. It's a stay away.
He also likes the Browns, which I agree with because it depends on if he said it's the Flacco incentive. I say it's CJ Stroud if he can play or not.
Yeah. But I will say Cleveland on the road, their defense isn't as good. It doesn't travel as well.
Yeah.
So this is going to matter, Bill. We might have to, unfortunately, on Christmas Eve, might have to text a little bit. I'm going to go Cleveland with you, Bill. I agree. Okay, I think we've got uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, siete,
You have
ocho,
Seattle and
nueve,
Tennessee.
Hold on. Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 13. We're missing 3 games.
Seattle at Tennessee. He went with the Titans.
That is tough, man.
That's a tough one.
Seattle's favored by 2.5, and I'm wondering if they just woke up. I don't know. This is another reversal. Seattle's 18th on offense. Tennessee's 26th on defense. Tennessee's good 17th. Seattle's 24th. Really? What did Bill say? Bill's really good. I wish we had him.
Bill went with the Titans.
Jets the Super Bowl. Love it. He said Titans. What are you thinking? I could see it.
I could see the Titans.
Drew Lock, if Gino's not playing, you know what? Forget it. Let's go Titans. I'm good with it. Seattle slightly favored. I could easily see Tennessee win this game. At home. They're going to be ticked off. Seattle's favored by 2.5. I could see it. Let's do it.
And then Washington against the Jets. He went with Jets. I would actually go with Washington. It's not
Jets are favored by 3. Washington has lost. They played the Rams tight. Washington lost before that to Miami by 30, to Dallas by 35, to the Giants by 12, and Seattle by 3. So they were only in
a
one-score game twice. The Jets.
But
what did Bill say?
Bill said Jets to the Super Bowl, but they have Boyle, who is their who's going to be their quarterback, and that is just scary, dude.
I think I'm actually thinking Washington.
I'm thinking Washington too, personally.
I don't trust the quarterback. I don't trust the quarterback. So we're going Washington, and then that stupid Jags game. That's the last one, right?
Yeah. He went with the Jags. Now, if earlier today, Bill, I simply just straight out said it. Jacksonville, to me, is the softest division leader in the game right now. Mm-hmm. And, Tampa Bay, in my opinion, they've just been playing really well. In this case, it's Jacksonville at Tampa Bay, me personally. Bill went Jacksonville. I went Tampa Bay.
Yeah, I'm actually leaning Tampa, too. I don't see it. Kirk is out, and that has really screwed their offense. So I'm actually going to Tampa as well. All right, Bill, we're going to recap the picks. Tell me if you've got any other ones, but I'm starving. So after we wrap up here in a little bit, I'm going to eat, and then I'll give you a buzz. And Med, thank you for standing in, man, and just joining. Now I know we can only have one person on stupid StreamYard, which sucks. So I'll have to decide if I'm going to pay for a month for the mock draft thing. I'll think about it. I'm a little ticked because it says online 6 people, but what it means is 4 in the background, which is bull. So it's still a cool service. It just stinks. Yeah. But what are you going to do? Okay, Bill, we've got San Fran, Dallas, Detroit winning. We've got Denver, KC, the Rams, Philly, Buffalo, Green Bay, Chicago, Cincy, Indy, Cleveland, Tennessee, Washington, and Tampa. Bill, if you are feeling better, me and you are going to do a show this week because I can't not do a show with you, man. I'm going to, if the wife's sick, I'm going to join shots tomorrow, so we'll figure it out. What do you think of all those picks? 16-0. Boom. He said 7:30.
16-0. I like that.
What does he mean on the 7:30 thing? I don't understand it. Oh, call you at 7:30? He probably means call him. Yeah, he probably means call him. Now. Call him in 20 minutes. Guys, man, I have so much more I could say, but I think we're just going to have to do this again.
Yeah.
If you're cool with it, because this was fun.
I'm cool with it. I like talking sports.
Yeah, this is you're a fun person to talk sports with. Bill, I hope you go check out the rest of the episode. I'm hoping we win these picks. We were 9-7 last week. Bill has the breakdown of how crappy we're at. Y'all sound great. Thanks, man. Yes. Bill said call me. I think he means at 7:30.
Oh, yeah. Well,
the listeners, it's actually been getting some good run. I'm going to drop some numbers for you, Med. I'm kind of impressed, okay? Some viewing numbers. And then I've got one little comment thing I want to bring up from a Packers page. Bill, I'm pretty impressed, too. What did he say? Hold on. Cool. Okay, on Rumble, now they're not just straight raw views, means somebody saw it for a second. My videos are up to over 113 hits on there, which is more than on YouTube. Well, it's actually not more than YouTube, but the raw views, all of them combined, are almost 2,000, which means people that saw it for a second. Our episode has had 362 eyeballs on it.
Really?
From last week.
Nice.
Bill, our episode has 375. The pick'em, the Packer, the one where you ran the cheesehead, 375. That's the last non-live one we did. The one with your son, Will, has on Rumble has 458 views.
That's hot.
It's hot. Our episode, our college football, is 272 and 3 thumbs ups. It means people actually clicked on it and watched it. It's pretty awesome. My episode with my dad is at money. My episode with my dad's at 180, and it took a couple days to get him verified. The episode with the Patriots guy is only at 91. But check this out. I'm going to bring up YouTube, and just for the viewers, this is a thank you because this is awesome, and the video is helping start to take off. Spotify, you can add a few hits. I got to see what Bill said. Money. We got to get over 1,000 for some money, but we're getting there.
Getting there.
Bill, I got a story for you about Frozen Tundra afterwards too. I already told Med. It's gonna be fun. Crazy. Wow. The episode with the Patriots guy on YouTube's up to 25 hits already in only less than 2 days. That's not bad.
Not bad.
That's actually not bad. I'm surprised it jumped. My episode with my dad has 22. The college pick'em with Bill is 23. I don't know what happened. The first show with Will, the live one, has 27. Med, our episode is 60.
The one right now?
Yeah, and the Bill from 2 weeks ago, ours has 70 on YouTube. But this is where I was absolutely nuts. This was just like crazy to me. When I looked on Facebook, hold on, I gotta go to the Fun Football Podcast page. Hold on. The new ones are getting over 100 as well, but I was thoroughly just I want to say thank you to the fans because that's why I'm reading all this stuff right now. On Facebook, let me get to the video. Hold on.
So there's also something else that we've talked
200 college football special, Bill. It's at 200, and the one with Will has 242 on Facebook. Matt, I haven't put ours up yet. I don't know how to do it because we didn't record it live on Facebook. So just viewing numbers, I'm just really thankful. Some of them over 700. So thank you.
And for the people that are actually still on and listening to us, besides Bill and
I think it's just Bill.
Yeah,
the one other person's me.
Yeah, yes, 2. We actually are talking about doing a mock draft with a few other podcasters.
Yeah, man. It might be audio only or video, and then we upload it if StreamYard sucks. But
I mean, I'm gonna look into talking to
Chris. Thanks for saying that. Chris, the one who did the interview with me, I'll send it to you. I did an interview with him. It was fun. He's been watching this whole episode, so thanks, man. I hope you liked it. We had fun. We went a little off script, but I had a lot of fun. Talking sports with Med is fun. So yeah, sorry, Med. Break down our college thing that we're talking about.
College thing.
Oh, our draft, our mock draft.
Oh yeah. So what we're going to be doing is we're talking about maybe getting 10 guys together. Possibly, of course, we can try to get our own teams, but I know in some cases, like you and Isaac, will not be able to draft for the Packers together. So y'all have to have a little fight or whatever, maybe a thumb wrestling match. But I think it would be really cool to get 10 people together, draft the way that we think that they would. I don't even have to pick the Bears, even though I know what the Bears would want. But
Bill says he wins.
Well, each one of us will have 3 teams, and we'll try to split it up to where, if you can get your favorite team, cool. But you're also going to get some teams that you're going to have to honestly say this is what they need to actually get better. I've also talked to Isaac about doing an all-time fantasy football draft, in which we're going to be taking stars from yesteryear. We're talking from the 1980s all the way up to retiring 3 years ago, and we'll have some wild cards for this year's players like Lamar Jackson, Travis Kelce, but they're going up against other people like Barry Sanders, Sterling Sharp, who is, in my opinion, Frozen Tundra, the greatest receiver that the Packers have ever had. If it wasn't for his
Sterling
neck
Sharp?
injury.
Oh yeah. Sterling Sharp. Just prime, you got to go Sharp. If it's all career, then you can bring some other guys into the mix, like
You could put in Donald
longevity.
Driver, but I mean, still, Sterling Sharp, if he did not have that neck injury, he would have been a top 5 receiver, bar
He
none.
was challenging Irvin for the position and Rice
Yeah.
for the position of top receiver in the league. And Irvin was special,
Mhm.
and we all know Jerry Rice is the greatest, but Sharp scared people. And
Yeah.
it wasn't just because he had Favre throwing him the ball.
Exactly.
I remember it. I was young. I watched highlights on him.
Y'all
I'm actually
had-
gonna later tonight. I'm gonna go watch some highlights on him.
Before you had Brett Favre, you had Dan the Magic Man Marjahowski. I mean, it wasn't like he was
Terrell
really
Owens.
yeah.
Bill says Owens and Peyton. I like it a lot.
Owens and Peyton. Yeah. I mean, and cool thing is, one other thing for all the other football fans, if you ever get a chance to go to Canton and watch one of your favorite players get inducted to the Hall of Fame, I went and watched Peyton Manning get inducted. Not a Colts fan, not a Broncos fan, but I wanted to see him get in. It's worth it. Awesome. The whole week was like a tailgate extravaganza. It's amazing.
Sounds pretty legit.
So
I would love to check that out. That'd be fun.
dude,
What did Bill say? Hold on. I got to see what Bill said, and then I'm going to add a Packers thing. He said nice. Okay. I would love to go to Canton, man. I wish I had more money, but yeah, that's kind of a
bucket list
item. Honestly, I had a bucket list item to go to all 32 stadiums, and going with the
That'd be
wife
cool.
to the Packers. I was a little distracted with some work crap, but I'd like to make it back. That'd be amazing.
I'm gonna try to go to Soldier Field before they tear it down.
There you go. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
See Aaron Rodgers home away from home.
Exactly. That would be legit. We should
discount double checks. I'll do it for you.
Okay, I'm trying to find my. Oh wait! I just gotta go to notifications. I'm trying to find some comments. I'm only gonna read a few. I said I had a fun debate on Frozen Tundra Network in a Packer fan zone. I'm gonna join some other ones, but Packers games on my bucket list and to see Lambeau. Chris said I like it. I agree, man. Go. It's worth it. They've added a lot to the whole Titletown district's fun, but just you got to do it. Pass
cool.
some cheese curds too, and I can name some places in Green Bay. I gave some recommendations to the guy who actually does Locked On Chargers podcast, and he reached back out to me, say thank you. I gave him the Creamery, and it's a breakfast spot in downtown Green Bay. It's legit. And then AJ's burgers downtown were really good, and they had the best cheese curds I found there. I tried like 3 or 4 different places because you gotta have cheese curds.
Oh, dude, I had poutine for the first time. My wife, we went up to St. Joseph, Michigan, and they actually had poutine, and that stuff was amazing.
There you go. Hey, okay, totally off script. If you ever go past Green Bay to the Upper Peninsula in Michigan, I'll have to text it to you. This is making me starve. I'm already hungry. Kudigi. I'm gonna. Oh man. Robert Bertana, the guy from the Frozen Tundra, made a comment on my thing. Oh, the one who yelled at me. Yeah.
Wait till you hear the story.
I'm going to read what he said in a second, but you got to try Kudigi, and they have some of the best pizza I've had in the country up there. It's freaking amazing. Now, the fish is obviously good, but that stuff is.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
Millie
Goats actually just reached out about tonight, maybe, but I'm like, I just did a show. I'm going to talk to him in a minute. Millie Goats is a good show, too.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ADD brain. Let's get back to. Okay. Yeah. Fun debate on the Frozen Tundra Network. Here's what I said, Bill, if you're still here. I said, obviously, Barry needs to go because we had a whole thing. And, Bill, I've got a whole thing I'm going to tell you about, okay? You're good. You text me. Obviously, Barry needs to go. Beyond that, what do you think of the players on defense? I want us to make some upgrades. I see some talent, but no one besides Gary jumps off the screen to me. And honestly, Gary's even up and down. Alexander is healthy, but he hasn't been. If we want to make moves towards contention in the future, we need to get a beast on defense. We need difference makers. I see a ton of first-round capital, but no one really special. And that's just how I feel. I could be wrong. We could get a DC and look amazing. I don't see it, though. Charles Woodson, we had a Super Bowl win. Reggie White, Super Bowl win. And when we went out and we got both Smiths on defense and Amos, we were at least contenders on defense. So we know Goot is willing to spend on defense. And historically, the Packers, when the price is right, they do it. If the price is right in the draft or the free agency, here's what I said, let's do it. What y'all think? Time to be aggressive. Robert, the guy from Frozen Tundra, said, we have great talent. We just have clueless leadership. Fire Barry, get a real DC, and then we can talk about what talent we already have. I'm pretty sure you're underrating the players we already have. We already know how I feel about that, and that's why I brought it up in
We
my
talked
show.
about it earlier too.
Love it, man. I don't agree. I'm sorry, I just don't. I did see the majority of the comments said the DC is the problem, and the players are frustrated. Couple guys, one guy said, "I think you're spot on. The great teams have transcendent talent," and that's my argument. But in general, they said aggressiveness, and they say we have young talent. And I'm sorry, there are levels to this. Quay Walker is not on Fred Warner's level, and he's never going to be.
No.
So if you can be realistic about it and understand that I'm not saying they're scrubs, but like the Bears, when they traded Roquan Smith, they took a step back.
We did.
For a minute, they're actually starting to come back. But getting rid of, that was so weird to me, to get rid of Roquan Smith and to get Edwards. Like, I don't understand the sense there.
What they didn't want to do is they didn't want to pay Roquan Smith the money he was owed.
Yes.
I mean, that's
But
really
then they
what it
paid
came down. But then again, what they did,
Yeah.
they went in and got Terrell Edmonds afterwards, who, if I didn't have Roquan Smith, at least that's the guy I would want. That's not Fred Warner, but that's the guy I would want. It's one of those deals. I mean, you could look at what's going on with Buffalo right now, and you could actually point at the fact that they don't have Terrell Edmonds anymore.
I agree. They're masking it well, but Milano being out too has really screwed them. Because now you're down two linebackers that are special. It's just like people want to underestimate linebackers. Like Philly's done this, and I'm sorry, but you can't just build your defense front and back. The middle matters.
Yeah, no, TJ Edwards was definitely a loss on their part. I mean, I don't think he's really done much for us this year, but that's just me. But at the same time, what I'm hoping for is that we can actually start competing against y'all again, because right now it's just that to me, a rivalry is a series of games where it's close and you really don't know who's going to win. And y'all just basically just been taking us to behind the shed really the last few years. And it is.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry, man. It really has
been bad. You don't have to apologize. I mean, I understand you sit out there with your bratwurst, with your little barrel with the big G on it.
Hey, man, you had some brats in front of Lambeau. I actually have. I did not. If I go back, I am tailgating, and I don't need a drink. I want to have some brats and have some good food. Like, give me some good food. I'm all about it. I could talk food with you all day. We could have a food podcast. I could do that.
Your coffee I was telling you about. Frederick's.
Oh, yeah.
Meyer brand, Michigan cherry.
Give me that. Hold on. I'm writing it down. Give me that one word. Or you know what? Just text me. Let's do that.
Yeah, I'll text it to you.
All right. Guys, this was actually our longest episode, and I kind of want to keep going, but I'm getting hungry. I want to say thanks to Chris for watching, Bill for hopping in the chat.
Thanks,
Joe, I would love to cut it up with you. We might have to do a Packer episode, man. You're awesome. And I hope you join us for our mock draft stuff. Also, man, just so you know, what I'd like to do is those mock drafts, but I'd like to do some other draft previews. I think we're going to have a series of episodes, so we'll chat off air about it. But viewers, I was going to take a break, but I might be back with an episode with Bill, or a possible, this is in the making. We will see. It's in the works, potentially. The wife is sick, so I can't really spend time with her right now anyways. There might be a fantasy football special. Me and my dad face each other. I'm going to give you all a little preview of that really quick, and then we're going to let y'all go. Okay, so me and my dad play. Winner goes to the Super Bowl. We both have injuries that suck.
Drama.
Hold on, I got to find the thing.
Hold on, if I could play some music for you real quick.
I need to work on my video and music game. I really do. Okay, hold on. Wait, it was there. Where is it? I'm trying to get to this. I don't know where it is on the website. I'm trying to get to there it is. Schedule. Playoffs. Hold on. My dad won. Okay, here we go. Come on, pull it up. Be the right thing. Be the right thing. My dad took all of his starters out. He does this crap. Okay, well, thanks, Dad. You made it harder on me. He takes all the starters out, so no, you don't know what you're playing against. Okay, so I've got C.J. Stroud at quarterback. Big problem because he could be out, and he's playing Cleveland, but it is Cleveland in Houston. Where's the music? I like it. There we go. So I've got C.J. Stroud. I've got the biggest dilemma on my team is I've got Stroud injured, and I'm gonna have to make a call at tight end. I think I'm gonna throw Tucker Kraft in. I made a savvy move and picked him up when Musgrave went out for the season, and I picked up, if you can believe this, just in case Geno can't go and Stroud, they both were out this week. I went and picked up Joe Flacco.
I don't know about that one.
If I have to start Joe Flacco, I'm gonna say this: if I start Joe Flacco and beat my dad, he's never gonna shut up about it. It'll be great. He actually has Jordan Love against that he might have to start against Carolina. He has Trevor Lawrence, but he's got some problems. Chase is hurt and Olave is hurt, so he's in trouble. So for the just to tease, even though I know we're almost 2.5 hours in, for anybody that's stuck with us, you're a trooper. This was our longest episode yet, but we had fun. And I'll be back later this week with the Fun Football Podcast. Check out Shots from the Sideline. Yeah. Med is the best. There will be more future episodes to come. And I may be on their show tomorrow. So it's not live, but check them out on Spotify, Apple, iHeartRadio.
Pretty much anywhere where you get your podcast, and I will be talking to Seth later, see if we get some money up, and we'll definitely be doing live content like this as well.
Cool. Well, you can do it too, from different locations like we do, but yeah, I've been trying to keep it free because it's freaking $30 a month if you don't pay by the year. So, StreamYard is awesome for putting this up and having the service that I can use, and many others. So I appreciate it. But thank you for listening to this episode of the Fun Football Podcast. This was episode number 28. I had a lot of fun, and I may be back with another episode this week. But if not the latest, you'll see me right after Christmas. Thanks, Med.
Thank you. Later, guys.
See you guys.